Ugh. Uh-huh. Yeah, oh, you. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Thank you, First World Internet. Doing me a huge favor here. Hmm. There we go. I don't really like the wind chimes. And yeah, I know the music is kind of loud at the moment. We'll get to that. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Boop. Lower that down so I'm audible. Hey there. Hi there. Hyde here. And it feels like it's been a while for me. Maybe it's only been a week. We're going to be doing something different tonight. I'm a little bit tired, you know, a little bit tired from all the holiday festivities and reveling and whatever else. Uh, so this is Home Safety Hotline. What do we have here? Television play? Good morning. Good to see you. Sleeping is important. Hazards such as house fires, flooding, black mold. Something else on my face? Oh, that's a headset. Don't become a statistic. Call the Home Safety Hotline and keep your family safe. 555 Home Safety. Okay. Uh, that's cool. What else do we have here? Credits? Maybe we'll get into that later. Yeah, I have a headset on. Have you never worked in a call center? Usually they have the half headsets. Like, I hastily made this. Oh, reveling in something else? Reveling, well, for me, Easter isn't really one of those holidays I celebrate. Oh, yeah, okay. Then you probably have a better idea of what they're supposed to look like. Um, but this is what I drew, you know? It's here on my head, and it almost resembles. Or did you mean my hair? The meat hair? Yeah, I wanted it to look like strands of meat, muscle fiber, more than anything. I don't know if I accomplished that. Probably didn't. Subject line, welcome from HSH Corporate. Welcome to the Home Safety Hotline family. We are pleased to have you aboard as our brand new Home Safety Hotline responder. Your supervisor's name is Carol Regina. She will be calling you today to brief you on your duties, and will be reviewing your work daily to ensure maximum accuracy. As a reminder, responders with a 90% accuracy rate or more will qualify to receive our daily employee coupons. Work hard and be rewarded with incredible savings. Sure. How do I scroll down? Can I scroll down? Maybe I can't. That's okay. We're playing this on Switch. I specifically bought this game last night, last minute. I thought to myself, there's no way I could do a Zatsudan style fishing stream. There's no way I could do a chatterbait stream today. I'm too tired. I feel like I might have gotten sick from the socializing, as is the case, you know? And the alcohol didn't help things. My head is also killing me, so we'll see how far we can get in this. Yeah, it did. I have some throat issues. Sorry about that. Um, I think it's post-nasal drip, and I'm not quite sure from what it's stemming. It could be the alcohol just causing like histamine response and post-nasal drip. Could be the lack of sleep. It could be me getting sick. We'll see, right? Like that's the fun part. That's the fun part of it all. It's a gotcha, and every option is bad, but some are better, right? Some options are better than others. From HSH Corporate. Attention call team. Due to an error with our archival network, some of you may notice video files from our video archive appearing on your desktops. Please disregard these. They will be cleared up in due time. Sincerely, HSH Corporate. Great. So I guess we start. I do apologize if my voice is a little bit gross. I haven't been really talking today, despite the socializing. That happens. Oh, and this is a thing. This long black screen. It didn't freeze. Don't worry. Again, we're playing this on the Switch today because I figured that'd be easier on my computer if I could offload some of that to the Switch. And I think it will. Monday. I hate Mondays. John, get the lasagna. Lasagna. Home safety hotline. Yeah, we'll clock in. I've never had a job where I had to actively clock in with like a time box like this. That's never been a thing for me. I've had to clock in remotely, but like clock in times are usually just whatever. Bedbugs. Bedbugs are small insects known for feeding on the blood of humans and other mammals, and their tendency to inhabit sleeping areas of the home. Homeowners infested with bedbugs often report itchiness and sometimes a delayed onset of rashes. Hello? Hello, welcome to the Hyde-line. How can I help you?
My name is Carol, and I'll be acting as your
Is
supervisor
that
during
loud
your
enough?
time here at HSH. Before you begin your first day here, let me tell you a bit
I think
about
that's
how things
probably
work
loud
here.
enough.
You are an HSH responder. As such, it is your job to learn about various household hazards so you can answer the questions of our callers intelligently. When a client calls, answer the call and listen carefully to their concerns. When you've diagnosed their issue, submit the corresponding household hazard, and we'll forward them safety instructions to address their problem. Welcome to the
Sure.
HSH family. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yep, sure thing, boss, you got it. Bedbugs are not known to transmit any dangerous diseases and are relatively harmless to humans, although they are very annoying. However, their presence can often attract other pests that use them as a food source. Bedbugs have developed a resistance to the majority of common pesticides and are therefore quite difficult to remove, incineration being the best option. It is advised to utilize HSH's pest removal services. Hello, welcome to the Hyde-line. How may I assist you today?
John here. My wife
Hi, John.
insisted I call this number. It sounds like she
Uh,
thinks we
they
might
they
have some
can,
kind of
if you're
infestation.
allergic to them,
My wife keeps telling me about specks of
but they
dirt
don't
or
transmit
something
diseases.
in the kitchen. Just looks like coffee to me. I don't know. You tell me, I guess.
So you're telling me you found coffee grounds on your kitchen. Are you sure you didn't just spill them on the kitchen counter? Like I've done that before. uh, Coffee grounds are pretty easy to spill. Like if you're measuring them with a spoon rather than some kind of scoop, that can be a problem too. Or cockroach droppings? Yeah. Diana, don't get ahead of ourselves here. We're still reading about these things. Let's keep reading. Um, we're getting paid by the hour, not by the customer. So I figure we can just read through these. Audio sample. Yeah, yeah, that sounds like bees. Actually, you know what that sounds like? That sounds more like a wasp than a bee. I know the difference. Bees are small matriarchal flying insects known to build large hive structures in high places, often in trees, attics, or roofs. They obey this They obey their queen. Homeowners infested with bees sometimes report buzzing, stings, or frequent bee sightings. Yeah, I've seen that before. There was that whole time where my recording room was just filled with bees, and I couldn't record anything early on in my streaming career. That was great. Bee stings, in addition to being painful, can lead to injury or even death in cases where members of the home have an allergic reaction to bee stings. Bees can also attract the attention of larger, more dangerous pests. Solution: to remove bees from a household, one must first locate their hive. Once found, do not attempt to remove a hive by hand. Why would you reach out and grab a beehive? Like, that seems like a very stupid idea. Bourbon truffle ice cream? That sounds very, that sounds very decadent, right? I'm a very simple person when it comes to ice cream. It all tastes the same to me anyway. Like, the only thing you'd want ice cream for is because it's cold and it's creamy. But yeah, it sounds decadent. However, I would not enjoy it. um, I probably wouldn't enjoy it, especially if it has truffle pieces. Like, I assume you mean truffle chocolates and not truffle mushrooms. Maybe you do mean mushrooms. Savory ice creams can work too. To remove bees from a household, one must first locate their hive. Once found, do not attempt to remove it by hand until the bees within are put to sleep or killed. It is strongly advised to utilize HSH. Yeah. Always shield the company, I get it. Tell me about black mold. Yes, little truffle pieces. I think it could work, savory. I bet truffle, brown butter, and onion would make a decent ice cream. You can make like an onion sauce, a creamy, rich onion sauce, using milk and a roux kind of thickener. So I bet that would work pretty well. I wouldn't enjoy it, but I don't like butter and onions. Black mold is a common household fungus known to grow in moist, warm locations. It appears frequently as small black spots. Here's a tip for you that they're not going to tell you. Aspergillus is especially dangerous. If you see black mold, you want to get rid of it, and you want to be careful doing so. Homeowners with black mold infestations frequently report a musty smell, allergic reactions, or breathing problems. At that point, it's kind of too late for you. You're going to have problems. Black mold is not immediately dangerous to humans, but enough of it can cause damage to household integrity, making it a long-term danger, also known to cause allergic reactions or breathing problems. That's not true. I think you're thinking more of mildew. Mildew is slightly safer than a black mold. Black mold can be removed with regular cleaning supplies and maintenance, and can be prevented with good ventilation in high moisture areas of the home. For more serious black mold infestations, it is advised. Yes, again. Show the company, I get it. Tell me about carpenter ants. Okay. We got a... Oh yeah, very crunchy. Yeah, it can. Black mold infections are quite dangerous to some people especially, but they're always dangerous, right? Usually the immunocompromised are going to have the most problems with black molds. The spores are going to be able to infest their lungs. And a lot of immunocompromised people, that's kind of how they go. Not through bacterial or viral infections, but through mold infections in their body. Because it's very hard to remove parasitic mold infections from the body. Yeah. Carpenter ants are small insects known for nesting inside of wood, which is not great for people who own wood houses. Homeowners infested with these pests sometimes report a faint rustling sound coming from their walls as the ants build their nests. Carpenter ants aren't dangerous to humans, but they are known to bite when threatened, and they can be painful, those bites. They also are known to spread disease and can cause damage to homes they nest within. Don't use common pesticides, shill our business again. What else do we have? Cockroaches. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a gross one, isn't it? Cockroaches are small insects known to be common household pests. Homeowners with a cockroach infestation commonly report seeing droppings that appear similar to coffee grounds. There you go. If it isn't just him spelling coffee, it would be this, I guess. That said, we're gonna keep reading anyway. Yeah, you called it. You called it. Good on you. Cockroaches are no immediate danger to humans, but are known disease carriers. They frequently inhabit kitchens and other areas used to prepare food, increasing the risk of disease. Cockroaches are resilient, fast breeders, and are notoriously difficult to remove. They are. Yeah, cockroach-specific pesticides are pretty deadly to humans. A lot of random shows. Yeah. Um, it's good to know that, but at the time you see it and can actually use it, it's probably a problem. Gopher. Ooh, we have some kind of noise here. Chipping, yeah. Chirp, chirp. You often hear that in the woods and nature, usually along meadows and plain areas. Not so much in the woods themselves. Cute little guy. They get quite big, you know. Gophers get pretty big. Gophers are small, brown, furry mammals with enlarged front teeth that are known for living in burrows. They can become a pest to homeowners when they choose to burrow on their property, commonly damaging gardens that they do. It doesn't matter if you put, like, submerged fences or anything like that. They will dig under them or through them. Gophers are capable of biting humans and spreading deadly diseases such as rabies, so caution around them is advised. Do not attempt to approach a gopher directly. Natural deterrents don't usually work too well. Plants that repel gophers, sage or thyme. I've tried that before. It doesn't really work. I've tried chili peppers before. That doesn't really work. Removal services are often necessary. Things like cages and traps, and you can release them afterwards if you're careful. Or you can just get rid of them permanently. Houseflies. I think we all know what a housefly sounds like. I'm not quite sure. I always thought that gophers were smaller. Groundhogs are a lot bigger. Maybe they're the same creature. I don't think they are. I think groundhogs, although closely related as any burrowing mammal would be, in the sense, a lot of burrowing mammals are in rodentia, right? I'm not a biologist here, so don't quote me on this, but my interpretation has always been that gophers are smaller and groundhogs are a lot larger. Like, I've seen groundhogs that get pretty big, right? The size of a small dog. And I've seen, like, I've seen groundhogs the size of a small dog for sure, often basking in the sunlight in their meadows and prairies. Gophers, I think they tend to be, if there is a difference, like, I think it might only be colloquial for me. Yeah, so don't quote me on that. Houseflies are small flying creatures that are known to commonly reside inside homes and frequently surround those whose death is impending. Huh? I guess. Homeowners afflicted with houseflies commonly report buzzing sounds and thoughts of decay. Huh. That's strange. Houseflies are no immediate danger to humans, but are known disease carriers. They frequently inhabit kitchens and other areas used to prepare food, increasing the risk of disease. Here's a fun fact for you. Flies have their gross proboscis, right? Excuse me. Oh, it's not here in the picture. But flies do have a gross proboscis. And they use that to regurgitate their stomach acid or what would be akin to a stomach acid, onto their food. So a lot of undigested food also comes up as well. And that's how you get disease spread, right? They do a lot of external digestion work in order to get into food. They don't have teeth like we do, right? It'd be pretty weird if flies had teeth like we do. I think that would improve the design of the housefly quite significantly, though. Houseflies can be removed with common pesticides, yes. Houseflies are probably the easiest thing here to actually get rid of. Although, I say that, but if you see one fly, there are a lot of them. House spiders. Those will help out with the flies. Spindly orb weaver here. Flies are slushy enjoyers. I don't know if they enjoy it. I just think that's how they have to live their lives. House spiders are small, eight-legged creatures that commonly nest near or inside homes. They're known for building sticky thread-like webs to trap small flies or other insects, which they use for food. Homeowners commonly report web sightings. House spiders can bite humans when threatened, but their venom is not strong enough to harm a human. That depends, and they will often keep to themselves if left to their own devices. Their tendency to eat flies, bees, and other pests make them an excellent pest deterrent, and their presence keeps some larger pests from moving in. Agreed, it's never an ideal thing to get rid of all of the spiders in your house. You want at least some spiders in your house. And I think the common thing is there's at least one spider for every 10 feet away from you are. So, I like spiders too. The only problem is the most common house spider that I ever see is like the wolf spider. And wolf spiders are cool, right? Wolf spiders, unlike most orb weavers, will not use thread to capture their prey. They'll go hunting it down, right? So they're the ones you see crawling around on your ground, on your floors in the middle of the night. They're hunting for prey like a wolf. That's where they get their name from. They'll run after their prey, ambush them, and sink their teeth in. That's how they do it. And they tend to be bigger. They're brown, big, especially the females. The females tend to be a lot bigger than the males. So yeah, they're the fast little scurrying ones, not the ones that live in the webs. I only ever see like these orb weaving ones in window panes, especially the ones with the, what are they called? I rarely open my windows. Not the panes, the insect protection thing, like the little mesh. What are they called? It doesn't matter. The mesh internal thing that allows like gnats in and stuff. Yeah, that's usually where I see orb weavers. Anyway, don't get rid of your house spiders if you can avoid it. They're good, unless they're like brown recluses or black widows or some kind of very dangerous species. I'll tell you what, I used to share a picnic table with a nice family of black widow spiders. They were very nice. You didn't bother them, they wouldn't bother you. Mice. And they were perfect company, right? Cheep, 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 cheep. Kinda sounds like whistling, doesn't it? Mice are small, worthless rodents commonly found in the household. Homeowners with a mice infestation commonly report gnaw marks, small round droppings, and sounds of squeaking. Mice are capable of carrying any number of diseases, so they serve as an indirect danger to most humans and should be dealt with immediately. It's true. The fleas on mice were responsible in part for the spread of the Black Plague. Yeah. Mole. Yeah, at the old workplace. Mice are not worthless. They're perfectly acceptable lab animals, right? They are, however, incontinent, so they urinate on everything that they ever touch. Everywhere they walk, they're spreading their urine, which is why it's always important when you get like a canned food from the store or a can of soda to make sure that you wash the top off before you drink it. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but if there's a rat infestation in a storeroom in a store and they crawl on the cans of whatever, they're going to urinate on it. And that urine can transmit diseases. Contrary to what Bear Grylls says, urine is not sterile. You can drink it, but it's not sterile. So please do be careful of that. Moles are small, dark brown, furry mammals with pointed pink muzzles that are known for living in deep burrows. The burrows tend to look like volcano-shaped mounds, and they're known to eat insects. Contamination OCD? Yeah, it's true. It's not a conspiracy. You know, the fun thing about being a conspiracy theorist is the stranger the world gets, the more validated I feel. So, that's not OCD at that point, that's just true. Now, if you're gonna cook your food, I don't know of anyone who cook. Yeah, you know what? I have cooked soda before. There's some nice uh, chicken recipes, pork recipes. They call for you to reduce soda into a sauce, and it turns into a nice barbecue glaze, something like that. Very sweet and sticky and nice. It can be nice. So you can cook your soda, but I don't know most people. I don't think they do that with their soda. I just don't drink soda, you know? I don't drink soda anymore. The last soda I had has been so long ago that I cannot remember. Moles are capable of biting humans and spreading deadly diseases such as rabies, so caution around them is advised. They also have close relations to the ones beneath the soil, which can cause further danger if provoked. It's true. You don't want to provoke the ones beneath the soil, right? Like that's where most of the nutrients in your soil is coming from. So if you provoke a mole, that's going to be a problem for you. Highly recommend against it. Oh yeah. Um, it's good that you have someone in your life telling you this useful information. Now you can see the difference between a mole and a groundhog or a gopher, right? Moles have these sharp claws. They're for digging and spreading the soil. Very useful. They also have these small noses. Some of their noses terminate into a star-shaped fleshy appendage, and that can be useful for smelling things. They're not entirely blind, like not every species of mole is blind, but they do have diminished eyesight. They prefer the darkness, much like the ones that dwell below. It's probably why they have such close relations with them, right? Yeah, the diminished eyesight. And maybe the sharp claws, too. Raccoon? Raccoons are cute, don't get me wrong, but I don't like them. Yeah, they're kind of scary, like the fleshy appendages. It's like there was a viral image of yes, raccoons are very cute. There was a viral image of uh the underside of, I think it was an octopus with its mouth open, and it looked like it had human teeth. That was going around, I guess, a couple of years ago. And those fleshy appendages are known as buccal masses. They're not actually hard teeth, which is kind of weirder, right? That they're or teeth-shaped fleshy masses in the mouths of these octopi, octopods, octopuses. I think it would be octopuses. They're cute and smart and somewhat evil. Raccoons are a menace, but yeah, they are absolutely clever for what they are. I wouldn't call them evil. They don't have connections with the ones that dwell below, so I wouldn't call them evil, no. Raccoons are small nocturnal mammals with gray and brown fur, known for their tendency to rummage through garbage cans or nest in attics. I've never seen that. I've never seen them nest in attics. That has to be like a really low attic, or some easy outside access to them. I've never seen that. Homeowners infested with raccoons often report frequent garbage spills or clattering sounds at night. Raccoons are capable of biting humans and spreading deadly diseases, such as rabies. That they are. So caution around them is advised. Additionally, their feces contain deadly parasites, which, if accidentally inhaled or ingested, can cause progressive neurological damage to humans, or eventual death. Very true. Gotta be careful of raccoons. Really, like a lot of people think that it's just bats that have rabies. Like bats and raccoons are the main ones. But that's not true at all. Lots of animals can carry rabies, like most mammals can carry rabies. Joking about the evil? Yeah. Well, they do have the bandit mask, so it's fine. Termites. Termites are small insects known for consuming decaying plant material, particularly wood. Homeowners with a termite infestation often report peeling paint, small holes in the drywall, or squeaky floorboards. Termites are harmless to humans by themselves, but the damage they can cause to a house's structural integrity can be deadly long-term, and should be removed as soon as possible. That is not entirely true. Termites are not, uh, in fact, what would the word be? Safe to humans? They produce a lot of gases. I think naphthalene is one of them. The same thing that mothballs produce, or the same thing that mothballs are made of. And that's dangerous in high amounts to humans as well. Any animal, in fact, the smaller the animal, the more dangerous naphthalene poisoning would be. And they also, I think they produce methane because they do have, interestingly enough, they have a digestive system capable of digesting cellulose. Specific, I think it's enzymes and microbes in their microflora, their gut flora, that allow them to digest the cellulose in wood, which is very interesting. Not a lot of organisms have that. Raccoons really have rabies? I don't know. I think they're still one of the highest vectors for rabies. I don't know if there have been any large reports of rabies induced or at least transmitted by raccoons, but I do think they are one of the higher vectors. I think it's still bats and raccoons. It's the top two. Um, I think I think a lot of people think that opossums, the American opossum, can transmit rabies, but they're actually a marsupial, and I think they rarely ever can even contract rabies, if at all. They'd have to be like immunocompromised opossums, I think. It's mostly just mammals. You heard it changed? Well, that'd be news to me. I don't pay attention to the world anymore. Uh, it's just not for me anymore, yeah. So yeah, be careful of termites. If you get a termite infestation, be careful of the gases building up. That can be dangerous to you. It will cause a lot of different symptoms, in fact. Ticks. Speaking of ticks, the American opossum is one of the few major predators of ticks. Like, they eat almost exclusively ticks. And I hate ticks. I really hate these things. Ticks are very small arachnids known to feed on human or animal blood, and are most commonly found in tall grass. They latch onto their host, often unseen, and burrow their head into the flesh of their victims. Hosts will often report symptoms of illness, such as fevers, headaches, and chills, because ticks are disgusting little things. Ticks are incredibly dangerous to humans thanks to their ability to directly spread various diseases to their host, such as Lyme disease, which was totally not made on an island somewhere, and their potential to provoke other, more dangerous household pests. Opossums are cute. They are, yeah. Um, One of their favorite things is to eat ticks. It's one of their favorite food sources, ticks. They're high in nutrition because they're fed well on blood. Although you can remove ticks once they have invaded your home with common pesticides, it is too late to prevent any diseases they have transmitted. Instead, prevent ticks from entering your household in the first place by treating the surrounding area with pesticides and keeping a tidy, weed-free lawn. That's good advice. If you have animals that you let outside, be careful of that too. They can get ticks on them, and you've got to be very careful to keep them treated or have a tick collar, and then make sure that your own home doesn't actually get infested with them. So, we're gonna be calling this cockroaches, right? Like, it's been a while. I wanted to read every single entry. There we go. I wanted to read every single entry, just to see what we were dealing with. I'll be perfectly honest with you, this is not the first time I've ever seen this game. This is not the first time I know what's going on. I know what's going on in this game. I know what I signed up for. So I wanted to get the information immediately for later parts of the game. Although I don't think it's going to be a big deal. You have cockroaches. Make sure you set out some cockroach traps. Maybe get your house tented and get rid of that infestation. Info successfully sent to client. Good job. So yeah, I know what's going to happen in this game, and it was one of the biggest draws for me. I wasn't initially going to play this for a while. Hello, you've reached the Hyde-line. How may I help you today?
Hi, I'm so
Hi,
sorry. My
Grace.
name is Grace, and it's probably nothing, but I thought I'd call just in case. Lately, I can't sleep at night because of this
Yes.
annoying little sound coming from my attic. It sounds kind of like ee, ee, ee,
E
ee,
E E.
it's probably nothing. I'm sure it could just be regular
Yeah, it's probably just old house noises. I wouldn't worry about that. Houses creak all the time, especially haunted ones. Shift into the horror genre? Well, yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's in the description. This is kind of a horror game. Is there a quick way to actually submit answer? No. Okay, that's fine. We know this is mice. Mice often squeak. They sound like a whistling noise. They're very annoying. I hate mice. In the house. Oh, that's not right. There we go. I am going to increase the size of this text next option we get. You have mice, ma'am. Put out some mouse traps if you want to get rid of them. Make sure you don't leave any food out in your house. But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this game played, so I'm not entirely familiar with all the answers. Hello, you've reached Hyde. How may I help you today?
Hank here.
Hi, Hank.
Last
Good to see
week I
you.
called your guys about some crap in my yard.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
I was
that.
told wasn't anything to worry about.
It might not be.
Well, guess what? There's more piles of crap in my yard.
You say crap,
I'm
sir.
talking huge
Sir, calm
piles of
down.
brown out there.
Please
You
calm down,
better not
sir.
tell me it's nothing again, because I know I've seen something moving out there.
You may
Tell me
have.
what it is so I can take care of it once and for all.
Sir, please calm down. I'm sorry to hear that you're having a frustrating experience with our hotline. I'll see what I can do for you. Please hold. Huge poops. Well, I would like to know, right? Is he actually seeing these huge droppings? Because if he's seeing actual droppings... Sir, I need to get you back on the line. Can you get back there and investigate one of these huge uh, piles of crap, as you call them? It's good to know what they look like. Are they full of undigested material, hair, bone? It's possible you have a homeless person problem, or perhaps a large animal, if they're huge piles. Perhaps a bear, right? Do they create... I know gophers do create burrows. But are we looking at moles, perhaps? It's probably gopher or mole. Gophers create more of a trench-like burrow. Moles can create mounds. Moles are pretty interesting. They sense vibrations, too, right? So it's not all smell. Some of it's sensing vibrations. And they'll go after earthworms, which is dangerous, right? Earthworms are good for the garden. You want to keep a lot of earthworms in your soil because they're the ones digesting the organic material and making it bioavailable. Yeah, the burrows tend to look like volcano-shaped mounds. Um, yeah, I think that's your answer for you. You have a mole infestation. It's no big deal, but it can be dangerous if you step into a burrow or a hole made by one. Otherwise, you ought to be fine keeping them. There are so many earthworms per cubic meter of soil, it doesn't really matter if some of them get eaten. It'd just be ideal if you didn't have moles. Do you know what? Other burrowing mammals exist, right? Like voles exist. Voles, moles, and Hi there. You've got Hyde. How can I help you?
Twig segment here. Just
Hi,
calling
Twig.
to inform you that your refrigerator's been running loud over here for the past 45 to 90 minutes. Been running wild.
Mine
Better
has?
head on over and catch it, big fella.
Sure thing, Twig. Let me just get right on that. Thank you for letting me know, sir. It's very kind of you to let me know that my fridge specifically has been running over there. I mean, I don't think... I don't think I let it go. It's usually chained to my wall, right? Usually I chain it to my wall so it doesn't escape. But sometimes they get off the chains and that can cause problems. Hello, you've got the Hyde-line. How can I help you?
Hey, do you guys have a lawn mowing service or something? My good for nothing kid refuses to mow
Hmm,
and it's getting real crazy out there. Looking like a rainforest over here.
I
My
see.
kid is complaining about being too sick to do anything about it. Meh, 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 meh. The stress of this stupid
That's how it
lawn's
goes,
giving me a
sir.
headache just thinking about it. Can you send some guys up to get this done?
You know, sir, I don't actually know if corporate has a lawn mowing service or any kind of landscaping service. Let me put you on hold, and I'll check with my superiors.
Please hold.
They don't. When you talk about tall grass and feeling sick, I've had ticks attached to me for a long time before, and there have been concerns about illness. I've had tick-related fevers, and possibly tick-related, it was really young in my life, too. I used to, go adventuring in forests and tall grass all the time as a kid, and I know ticks are a serious problem, and they've only ever been increasing, right? Like, the populations are increasing as the climate, or the temperature, actually starts warming up more, right? And now that it's warmer, even in northern areas, like tick populations are exploding in the north, especially. So you probably have a tick infestation, and your son might be sick from ticks. You want to get that checked out, right? You don't want to. And if you do find a tick, I'm gonna give you a tip. If it's been there for a while, its head will be burrowed into your flesh, and then you'll need to go see a doctor about that to get it removed. Because if you leave their little mandibles inside of you, that can still transmit disease. In fact, it can be worse for you because it'll start decaying in your own body, and that can cause some kind of infection as well. Yeah, yeah. Usually, when a tick first attaches itself, you'll still see its head, right? You'll still see its head in there. But if you leave it there for a long time, it'll grow thick and fat with your blood, and its head will be completely burrowed into your flesh. And at that point, you have to go see a doctor, because you don't want to leave anything inside. Unfortunately, the folk wisdom where I was growing up was, if there is a tick attached like that, the best thing you can do is burn it with a match. And that will remove what's external, what's exposed. They don't like that. So that will help, but at the same time, you risk leaving the head behind, and that's really dangerous. So please do be careful. Check yourself for ticks when you come in from any kind of hike in tall grass or forest. Always do that, especially if there are frequent dogs there. You've reached the end of your scheduled work session for today. Please clock out below. Accuracy 100%. Check that out. Employee of the month, here I come. What was I talking about? Moles, voles, and other rodents? Yeah, they're part of the food chain too, so they're actually very important. But a lot of people don't know what a vole is. It's kind of like a small mouse. Options. I'm an old man, and I'm looking very... There we go. What do we have here? I needed to do that. But those are usually the food sources of things like owls and birds of prey. So they're very important to have. Create before it's due, Lazat. Mike 3. Oh, it's an HSH mail. You don't know me, but I used to have your job. You're in danger. Quit the day before it's too late. You don't know you enough. It's not too lottery to quit freely. Trust me. Sir, I don't know what you're on, but please go seek help. I need this job. Do you know how bad the economy is right now? I need this job. Subject. Daily coupon bug spray. Congratulations, employee. Your high accuracy rate has rewarded you today's daily coupon. Today's daily coupon is for HSH bug spray. I like that. Very good. HSH bug spray helps you keep those bugs where they belong. Outside. And dead. Just one spray keeps insects at bay. Using a state-of-the-art chemical makeup, insects are repelled by the pet-safe scent, and will immediately seek the fresh air of the outdoors faster than you can shake a fly swatter at. Flies, I really hate flies. Fly swatters are such a pain. To receive your discount, simply type the following code during your line checkout. Buzz off. Keep up the great work, employee. Oh, thank you. Do we have any other... No? I guess we just go back to work. Tuesday. I was hoping we'd get another video. right? But we didn't. Let's clock in. It's Tuesday. It's only Tuesday, and I feel like I've been doing work all week. This is awful. This is just like real life. Do we have any new things? I don't think we have anything new. All of these inaccessible things are just bugging me. Right? Like how many of them there are. The worst part of the day is like the fresh start of it, right? Like where you anticipate everything and there's nothing to do, and you're just waiting around. Like a lot of people probably think that's fun, but it isn't. Hello, you've reached Hyde at Home Safety Hotline. How may I assist you?
Hello,
Oh,
it's Carol again, your supervisor.
hi,
We're calling to
Carol.
let you know that you have been granted access to additional household hazard information.
I have.
Please be aware that this information is confidential and not to be shared with anyone outside of HSH.
I didn't sign a
Regarding
non-disclosure
outlying
agreement.
hazards, we will be providing only information to the clients that is pertinent to addressing their concerns. Nothing more.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Carol, I can handle that. Thank you for letting me know. Permissions have been updated. New entries now available. Bats, yeah. Bats are dangerous. What do you have here? Squeak, squeak. That's not how I usually associate bats sounding. Bats are a general term for a variety of species of nocturnal flying mammals. Bats can be identified by their usually large ears. Hi there, you've reached Hyde at Home Safety Hotline. How may I assist you?
Sorry, I'm calling to see if you
They
might
are
know
cute.
about anything I can do to.
Some of them eat bugs.
Sorry. Anything you can do to prevent pollen from coming in the house? I think
Hmm.
there's something seriously wrong with my ventilation or something because I
Hmm.
cannot stop sneezing.
You sure it's
In the
pollen?
past, I haven't had problems so long as I've stayed inside, but I think something is getting in.
Yes, it could be something dangerous. I'm gonna read this real quick. I hope you don't mind. Don't really have fruit bats around you? I see, I see. I was also thinking of vampire bats. Vampire bats have a very interesting diet where they mostly feed on blood. That's the name. Commonly find their way inside the home during their hibernation period before winter. I've caught a bat before, with my hands and a pot. I probably shouldn't have done that given the risk for rabies, but sometimes you just gotta take care of things yourself, right? If a bat invades your home, you might as well catch it, right? Sure. If I had a butterfly net, that would have been better, though. I regret not having butterfly nets, but, bats would have probably chewed out of it anyway. Homeowners with a bat infestation will commonly report sounds of scratching or flapping at night, and sightings of small dry pellet droppings. Bats are more dangerous than most household pests, given their ability to fly, bite, and spread diseases such as rabies. They also commonly have associations with the ones above the soil, increasing the potential danger significantly. That's true. A lot of people forget that. They mostly just think about the ones below the soil, and they think, it couldn't be that bad. But it is. Bad? Oh, bed teeth. I thought that said bad teeth. Okay. Bed teeth are a rare kind of household fungus known for growing in small cone-like shapes on the underside of bed sheets, blankets, or comforters. Homeowners infested with bed teeth often report mild discomforts when sleeping, such as tickling or itching. God, don't I know it. I once had an infestation of bed teeth. You really ought to wash your comforters pretty often, even during the winter time, and more rarely slimy acidic residue on their skin. It's not great. Waking up to that. You gotta put lotion on that too. Keep your skin nice and fresh. Bed teeth are not directly harmful to most humans, given their brief sleeping schedules. However, they tend to gradually grow sharper over time if left untreated, which can lead to infections in the open wounds they cause. To prevent the growth of bed teeth, bed sheets and blankets should be washed regularly. See, I told you. And inspected for rare, more persistent growths. Infested covers should be scrubbed thoroughly or disposed of entirely. I usually just burn mine. If you ever have bed teeth, like, all of your bedding is pretty much gone. Burn it all. Carbon monoxide. Yeah, that's a danger too. I get that a lot. There's an audio sample. I didn't know there were audio samples for carbon monoxide. That's great. Carbon monoxide, the chemical name for CO, is an invisible and odorless poisonous gas that is produced whenever a fossil fuel is burned. Not just when a fossil fuel is burned, any kind of incomplete combustion can result in carbon monoxide. That's why it's not carbon dioxide. It's an incomplete combustion that's the problem. If there's more carbon than oxygen in a system, you will not build carbon dioxide from the resulting reaction. You'll build carbon monoxide. So always make sure things are burning to a clean ash instead of getting a black smoky kind of thing. CO buildup can be caused by poorly installed, maintained stove and water heater appliances or a result of poor ventilation. Homeowners affected by CO poisoning will often report headaches, dizziness, or lethargy. Carbon monoxide can cause death in humans and pets with enough exposure. It is a deadly serious threat, and homeowners should take precaution to prevent its buildup. Homeowners affected by the poison should vacate the premises immediately and seek medical assistance to remove the poison from the household. All windows and doors should remain open until a CO monitor can confirm safe levels. CO monitors should be installed as a preventative measure and can be purchased from our website. They should be purchased from our website, in fact. I'll make a note of that to make sure that we're selling our CO monitors. A lot of days, carbon monoxide monitors are built into fire monitors, right? Like the fire sensors, those things that you attach to your ceilings. They're very useful to have. And if you live in a place where radon buildup is a thing, it's often built into those as well. Make sure you're checking those, by the way. You'll get false readings if the batteries are dying. So either you're not going to get the reports of carbon monoxide buildup, or you're going to get false reports. And then you're going to have to pay someone to check your house. No experience with that, however. Cellar growths are a large species of fungi that are known to grow in dark, damp environments, such as cellars. Homeowners infested with cellar growths commonly report a slimy residue, the sound of dripping or stretching, ooh, the stretching is great, or strange glows coming from their cellar. As cellar growths most commonly grow on ceilings, their weight can often cause duress to a homeowner's foundation, and as such, their removal should be prioritized. The slimy residue they drip onto the floor can also be toxic to small mammals or human children. Well, human children are small mammals. I don't see the difference. When in their infancy, cellar growths can be easily scraped off, and the affected area should be sanitized to prevent further growths. Again, fire is your best bet. If a cellar growth starts glowing or pulsating, it's too late. It's no longer safe to remove it in this manner, and it's highly advised to utilize HSH's fungal removal services. Yeah, leave it to the professionals when your cellar growths get to the pulsating stage. That's when the stretching really gets noticeable. Common hob. What do you sound like, common hob? Grinding metal. A little bit of a howl mixed with grinding metal. Common hobs are the most common species of hob found in the household. They're small humanoid creatures with gray burlap-like skin and small vertical tufts of hair on their head. I know we all know what a common hob looks like. We've seen them scamper around our house. How many times by now? You at least see a couple in your childhood, right? So I know, just let me read through these, right? We've got to learn more about their ecology in order to help these people, right? A lot of people have a lot of common misconceptions about household pests, right? Like there's folk wisdom, and sometimes that's right. But sometimes it's like burning a tick off your skin, and that's not what you're supposed to do. That's not the best way of handling it. So even if you do have common preconceptions about common hobs or other common household pests that we've all experienced tens, maybe 20s of time, you still gotta know, right? You still gotta follow the science on that. They're known for their tendency to consume dust, dirt, and common sticky substances found on floors and dishes, cleaning them in the process. They generally only come out at night. Hobs are not dangerous to humans on their own. If provoked, however, they're capable of mischievous acts and metamorphosis. Hobs cannot be compelled to leave on their own once nested in a home. You gotta move, I'm sorry. It's like Paranormal Activity, the movie. They will go after you if you provoke them. Instead, one should take measures to prevent provoking metamorphosis by leaving out a bowl of cream or milk at night. Preferably spill it on the ground, because they do seem to like licking up sticky substances on the floor. So yeah, that's a common hob. But what about a desk hob? Look at you, aren't you a cutie? Crunchy. That's what I think it sounds like to chew on wood. Yeah. Desk hobs, desk hobs are a subspecies of hob that are known to inhabit desks, vanities, and other similar structures. They regularly like to tidy their homes and will frequently sort out and order materials in the desk to their liking. I hate that. Whenever you get a desk hob infestation and you have a certain, maybe not method of organization, but you know where everything is, they're the reason why you can't find what you're looking for. And that's never fun, right? Like I don't have any kind of organization on my desk. I just leave things out where they need to be, sometimes in the open. And the things that I like most or need the most often are usually put to the front of my desk. It's very messy, but I have a sort of internalized memory of where things are. And when these little things get in, like, that's just gone. You get these nice orderly stacks of paper and whatever else. I hate that. I hate that. Your apartments are hob free. Are you sure about that? Uh, are you up at night? Do you look for hobs specifically? Do you set out your hob lights so you can catch the hobs running around the floors or your desks or wherever? I don't really care if hobs are in my environment. Desk hobs, however, are not common hobs. They're not fun. They are physically similar to other hobs, but are generally much smaller and have raspy, loose hair. They do not bear a false face. That's good. They're not liars. Pretty sure. Always up at night? Okay, that's fair. Especially if you have animals, right? Uh, Pets like cats and dogs, they'll usually shoo hobs away. Yeah. So I guess that's fine. Maybe you do know. They're not dangerous to humans if left unprovoked, like any other hob. They are also capable of metamorphosing. Desk hobs cannot be removed once they nest. To prevent further danger, measures to prevent metamorphosis should be taken as soon as possible. It is advised to leave breadcrumbs in the desk each night before going to bed. It's true. If you don't want them eating your papers, give them another source of starch. False beet. Oh, yeah. I've seen false beets before. Anyone who's ever grown up next to a farm or near a farm, rural, right? Rural living, you'll always see false beets. False beets are creatures with a beet-like appearance that are known to trick gardeners into harvesting and eating them by disguising themselves among their vegetables. The trick to this is to just never grow beets. Just grow carrots if you're going to grow root vegetables. That's the way to go. False beets are harmless unless eaten by a human, at which point they'll take root in the human stomach, feeding off its nutrients for its lifetime. This can cause digestive issues and potential back problems over the course of the human's life. So, yeah, that's true. They cause things like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, black stools, bloody stools, that kind of thing. So if any of those symptoms apply to you, and you've eaten beets in your lifetime, you might have gotten a false beet. And I know a lot of people say false beets can't affect you unless you're eating them raw. That's not true. It's just like any other small, single-celled colonial mass. Eating even a cut-up portion that's been cooked can still infect you with this parasite. Yeah, I think it's more likely than you think, right? You might have eaten one at some point, and you just never know, right? Like if you ever have beets in your salad and they're raw beets, that's dangerous, right? Like a lot of raw foods are dangerous. They're vectors for disease like Salmonella, E. coli, and false beets. False beets only find themselves in gardens that grow beets. See? I told you. If you do not wish to contend with false beets, it is advised to avoid growing beets. A swallowed false beet cannot be removed without killing its hosts. That's a lifelong thing. Too many of these parasites are lifelong, you know? And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, some parasites actually benefit the human body. It sounds strange, but there is some research suggesting uh, that parasitic infection can limit immune responses, right? Like, it can calm immune responses in people with autoimmune disorders. And maybe that's why we have so many autoimmune disorders and allergies nowadays, because living is just too clean. Love pickled beets. Well, you can cook your beets first, but at the same time, Eating even a cooked false speed is going to cause problems. Fracture hob. What do we have here? Oh, look at him. He's a cutie. The noises are remarkably similar, like shuffling stone, perhaps. Fracture hobs are a subspecies of hob that are known to cause cracks and fractures in the walls of the homes they inhabit. They are physically similar to other hobs in stature and size, with the exception of generally longer, wilder hair locks. They like long hair. I can dig it. They also bear a false face. Oh, not great. Fracture hobs having a false face. Got it. Fracture hobs are not dangerous on their own, but the fractures and cracks they cause can lead to foundational issues in the home. Like any other hob, they're also capable of metamorphosing. Fracture hobs cannot be removed once they nest. To prevent further danger, measures to prevent metamorphosis should be taken as soon as possible. It is advised to leave out a slice of any kind of cheese each night before going to bed. Yeah, common hobs, they like their cream and milk, and desk hobs, they like their breadcrumbs. Fracture hobs are much closer to the dietary needs of the common hob, right? Even though they bear the false face, they're much more closely related than desk hobs are. Frozen pipes. Common issue if you live in the cold norths. You always want to keep your water running just a drip in winter when the pipes might freeze. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize how much power there is in ice. Like, it's important that ice does what ice does. I don't want to get too much into it, but life could not form if water had different properties. See, the thing about water is, unlike most substances, when water gets cold, the atoms, the molecular bonds get further apart. They get more organized. Ice is actually a mineral, and this different arrangement of the water molecules kind of expands it, right? It means the same amount of water molecules will take up a larger space. And that's the dangerous thing about frozen pipes. The water inside of these pipes, if it's left there without running, will expand into ice and cause the pipes to burst. And ice can, exert a lot of pressure. I don't remember the specific amount, but it's a remarkable amount of pressure. And that's why a lot of it causes freeze-thaw cycles are one of the main problems for mass wasting events. Mass wasting are things like hillside slides, where entire chunks of a hillside might just slide down because of these freeze-thaw cycles, where the ice expands, pushes this ground in this huge block, fracturing it, and then when it thaws, nothing's holding it together anymore. The ice is just water, and it just slides on down, causing a mass wasting event. So it's very dangerous to have frozen pipes as well. Not just because it ruins your plumbing, but because you have this huge expansion, and you might not notice a leak for a while, which is dangerous because you'll get mildew and ceiling growths in your cellar. So you gotta be careful about that. Frozen pipes are a common household hazard during cold seasons, characterized by the water inside pipes freezing and expanding, causing stoppages, cracks, and leaks. I've seen some pretty bad ones before. Homeowners with frozen pipes may report strange faucet smells, banging and whistling sounds coming from pipes, or leakage. Frozen pipes can lead to bursting and water damage. True, which can be both costly and dangerous to a home. Homeowners suspected of having frozen pipes should utilize HSH's plumbing service immediately. Prevention is key when cold season arrives. Homeowners are advised to ensure their home is sufficiently protected from the cold by checking seals, keeping the home above 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and running hot water through the pipes on a daily basis. All of that helps. Here's the thing, right? Water tends to freeze easiest when it's not moving. Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but water, as it moves through a pipe, is creating heat through friction. It's not always enough to keep it from freezing entirely, but if you trickle water through a pipe, it's much less likely to actually burst. So if you don't care about your water bill costs, and you haven't insulated your pipes well enough, And if you can't heat your house, always make sure that your pipes are on at least a trickle of water, and that'll at least help a little bit. It also helps the pipes not get frozen in one place, right? Like if there's a low section in your pipe, water will always seek the lowest point. Um, so as long as you have some movement through there, the U-bends won't collect with water, so long as you fill it up enough. So that's important too. There's your practical advice for today. I've had this guy on hold for who knows how long. I'm pretty sure he has black mold in his ventilation system. I don't care. We're having fun here. House fires. House fires are rapid combustion reactions that occur inside a home. They are often caused by accident when cooking, or on purpose by more malicious household pests, or people. We call them arsonists. Homeowners affected by house fires commonly report the smell of burning, and the feel of burning. Usually the feel of burning ends after a while. Fun fact, when you get burns severe enough, you will no longer feel burning. Your nerves are pretty much toast. And when your nerves are toast, when you get third-degree burns or even worse, you're cooked. You won't be feeling anything ever again. That's not true. Nerves do occasionally grow back, but it's such a slow rate that you probably won't have much feeling for the rest of your life wherever you get third-degree burns. So please do be careful about that. House fires can cause severe damage to a human's skin, such as burns, and can even result in death. It can also produce carbon monoxide. I do want to add one thing to that. Stuff is scary. It is very scary. If you ever think you've gotten a burn, and it's just pink raw flesh, maybe a little bit hardened, that's usually a first-degree burn if you can still feel it. If it ever blisters over, that might be a second-degree burn. It's going to hurt a lot. If it's worse and you can't feel it, that's definitely a third-degree burn, and you need to seek immediate medical intervention. Burns are very dangerous, not only because, you're burning your flesh, but because it's going to kill skin and flesh, and that can lead to things like infections, and the infections are much worse than the actual burns themselves. So always go see a doctor if you think you've got a third-degree burn. Sometimes go see a doctor if you've got a large second-degree burn. First-degree burns, run them under cold water for about, 15 minutes. Not ice. Not ice them. Do not ice them. The thermal shock can cause more damage. But run them under cold water, or keep them in a bucket of cold water. And that can help reduce the damage done to your skin in first-degree burns. But make sure you know what kind of burn you have first. Doing that with a third-degree burn isn't going to do anything. In fact, if you don't feel anything after a burn, that's usually the worst sign. So keep that in mind. Yeah. It can even result in death. It can also produce carbon monoxide, which is deadly to humans. As such, its removal from a home should be made an immediate priority. To remove a house fire from a home, one can utilize specialty equipment, such as fire extinguishers, to snuff out the flames, or else large enough quantities of water. No. Here's the thing. House fires can be put out with water, but it depends on the house fire. If you have a deep frying accident, and hot oil spreads across your house and that starts burning, don't put that out with water. You can't. Oil and water have different polarities, right? Once had a second-degree burn from a motorcycle. Oh yeah, the exhaust get hot, right? Yeah. Took months to heal. It never does. Scar didn't go away for 15 years. It never will. That sounds like it was almost a third-degree burn. Yeah, the exhaust systems on motorcycles get very hot. They don't have the cooling that larger cars do because they can't have as much mass. So you gotta be very careful of them. And it's true for cars too. The exhaust on cars can get hot, but usually they have like larger radiator and cooling systems. So please do be careful of that. That's very unfortunate. Also, don't get scurvy, or else that'll reopen, and then you'll have a big bloody mess on your leg. Make sure to take your vitamin C. What was I talking about? Oh, right, house fires. So if you have a house fire and it started with cooking oil, The best thing you can do is to not throw water on it, because they have different polarities. Um, the oil will just be spread by the water, and then you're spreading fire across your house. What you can do is use a specifically CO2 fire extinguisher that will remove the oxygen from the system, prevent the burning of further oil. Scar might still be there a little. Usually scars fade, but once you get a scar, the human body has created scar tissue. Humans don't heal perfectly, right? Like a lot of animals can heal perfectly. Humans have opted for a different mode of healing. We heal very quickly, but not perfectly. We don't regrow skin like a lizard regrows a tail. That's a different form of healing. Increased, I think it's mitotic. Is it mitotic or is it meiotic? One or the other. Increased division of the cells in perfect replication. Humans have a different system. We just fill our wounds with garbage material to stop the bleeding, to stop the damage, to stop other things from getting in. And that's scar tissue. I think it's usually collagen and other things. But don't quote me on that. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just giving you household advice here. But yeah, if you have an oil fire, the best thing you can do is grab salt. If you have a lot of salt, try to smother the fire with the salt. Or if you don't have salt, try to put a lid on it. If it's a small enough fire, smother it with a lid, but try not to burn yourself. Do not throw water on it. So no, to snuff out flames or with large quantities of water would only work if it weren't like an oil fire. If wood's on fire and it's not caused by oil, you can use water. That will work. If it's an electrical fire, that can be damaging too. So be careful, right? Like electrical systems can be damaged by water and cause further sparking. So if you don't know what the nature of your fire is, always use a fire extinguisher, because they're geared more towards reducing oxygen in the system that is feeding the fire, as opposed to getting rid of the fire itself. Yeah. Water is the same thing, but CO2 is best. Well, there are also powders now, so it's not just CO2. It depends on what you have. For large fires, it is advised to exit the home and utilize HSH's fire removal services. Yeah, if there's ever any doubt, get out. Like, always have a lockbox that's fireproof and keep your valuable documents in there. Things like birth records, deeds to the house, deeds to whatever you own, stuff like that. Make sure you keep that in the lockbox, which is rated to very high fire resistant standards. There's nothing that's fireproof, but there are things which are very resistant to fire. So at worst, there'll be light scorching. Pipe growth. What does this sound like? Yeah, I understand they're expensive. I do recommend that everyone have one though, because it's even more expensive to get a birth certificate reissued and have an original birth certificate, because a lot of companies now require original birth certificates for things. I hate that. I hate that so much. But it's more expensive to get one of those reissued and sent to you, and it takes longer. So if you can keep the original safe, that's fine. Please do. It's an investment that everybody should make. Pipe growths are a type of fungus that are known for making homes inside damp, tube-like structures such as pipes. Pipe growths often grow slightly larger than the pipes they inhabit, and will therefore clog the pipe indefinitely until their removal. Pipe growths are known to make loud bubbling digestion noises after they eat a full meal. Okay, so these are probably going to be confused with frozen pipes. I can see. Pipe growths are known to attempt to eat anything that comes inside their domain. Most commonly, accidents occur when a human child attempts to reach their hand inside their home. What? What? Excuse me? Do not attempt to reach your hand inside an active pipe growth home. They're otherwise harmless to humans. Okay. I don't know how many children reach their hands down pipes. Like, I'm imagining a child putting their hand down a food disposal. You know, have you ever seen people bathing their children in their kitchen sinks with the food disposals? That always makes me very worried, right? Like, you can do it. It's probably easier to do that than in a bathtub. But at the same time, like, it makes me very nervous whenever I see that. It makes me so nervous to see someone bathing their child in their kitchen sink when they have a food disposal because of exactly this reason, right? It's insanely likely that a child will pull at things if they want to. They'll pull at the drain, any kind of cover, and then you have a child missing fingers. That's not great. Fingers do not grow back, even if you're a child. Yeah. To remove a pipe growth from its home, it must be offered a replacement. Any common PVC pipe will suffice. One should garnish the inside of the replacement home with an assortment of meat juices and insects. Place the replacement home near one of the pipe's openings and leave it overnight. Following day, the pipe growth should be removed and in its new home, where it can then be safely relocated away from the household. That's very useful, I didn't know that. Also, just the thought of human babies in sink where dishes are washed feels wrong. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm assuming that most people do what they're supposed to and create a 1 to 10 solution of bleach, where 10 is the water and 1 is the bleach, and then spray down any kind of cooking surfaces with that to kill E. coli and other bacteria. If you're not doing that, I highly recommend it, especially with your sinks, because sinks are very hard to clean. They often get scratched up in imperceptible ways. I'm assuming we all do that, like we're supposed to, right? We clean any kind of cooking surface with a disinfecting bleach solution. Oh, he's a cute little guy. A little growl in there. Okay. Little squeak like a mouse. Okay. Pipe hobs are a subspecies of hop that are known for making home inside tube. Tube-like structures such as pipes. They bear no false face. Okay, the only one that we know bears a false face is the fracture hobs so far, and are much smaller than most hobs. They'll commonly emerge from their home at night and consume any dirt, grime, and hair in the surrounding area, cleaning it in the process. I wish I had one of those. Like, my long hair always gets caught in my shower drain, and it's a pain, right? When you have long hair, it gets caught in the drain, and it clogs it up, and you have to clean it almost continuously to make sure the water flows down. When you have shorter hair, that's less of a problem, but it's still a problem. It's just a lot easier for longer hair to get caught in things. So even if you have like a stopper for hair, like a hair stopper thing, I don't know what they're called, but they make them. Even if you have one of those, your hair will get stuck. That's why you gotta use drain cleaners from time to time to dissolve the organic material, right? Usually drain cleaners are made of lye. Lye being a caustic chemical, not acidic, caustic, and basic in nature. It will eat through flesh and organic material. So be very careful with pipe cleaner. Pipe cleaner, materials, solvents, things like that. Because it is caustic. Wear gloves. Usually nitrile works best. Latex works okay if you get the thicker latex. They do. They absolutely do. They are caustic materials, and they will damage pipes, some more than others. If you have PVC plumbing, which I hate, never get a house with PVC plumbing. I don't care how safe it is to drink out of. Plastic is very easily corroded because it is an organic material. PVC is made of plastic. Plastic is made of petroleum. Petroleum is made of dead dinosaurs. Not really. It's made of dead plant material for the most part, and microbial mats. Not so much dinosaurs. Maybe some of it's made of dinosaurs, but usually colonial organisms, microbes, things like that. You're not going to find oil made from dinosaurs most places. But the point is, it is organic in origin, for the most part. There are inorganic methods of producing oil, and some of them may occur within the earth, but most of the oil is actually biogenic. I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I admit that. There are um, non-biogenic sources of oil and other hydrocarbons. The universe is actually full of hydrocarbons. If you look at it, there are entire galaxies, entire nebula filled with hydrocarbons, and even in our own solar system, that there are planets with atmospheres of a large amount of methane, and that methane is probably not organic in origin. You could do isotopic analyses to determine what kind of pathways these things were made from. Um, Organic pathways have slightly different isotopic compositions than inorganic ones, just from the nature of production, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about pipe hobs, right? Yeah, pipe hobs. Pipe hobs are not a direct danger to humans, but their physical presence can sometimes cause leaks or clogs over time. If provoked, they are also capable of mischievous acts and metamorphosis. So, when you have a clogged pipe, always make sure that it's an organic clog and not a pipe hob. Otherwise, if you pour drain cleaner down there, you're going to get a metamorphosed pipe hob, and that's going to be more dangerous for you. Those things, again, you cannot remove hobs from your house, so you've got to make sure that you're not angering them. Pipe hobs cannot be compelled to leave on their own. Once nested, see? I told you. It's just like any other hob. Instead, one should take measures to prevent provoking metamorphosis by leaving out a clipping of hair near their homes at night. It's going to be very tough for some people. Most humans have body hair, but some people don't. If you have something like alopecia, uh, it might be hard to get hair. So you're going to have to go hunt for hair from other organisms, right? Say you get a dog for their hair. Stair slug. Oh, I've seen one of these before. Especially late at night when you need a drink of water, like a glass of water, and you have to go down to your kitchen or something. It's so common to see one of these. I'm sure we've all seen one before. That must be on wood stairs instead of tile stairs. I've never heard that crunching before from my stair slugs. Stair slugs are large, dog-sized slugs that are commonly known to occupy stairwells and basements. Homeowners infested with stair slugs commonly report a slimy residue on steps or other household inclines. Yeah, that's true. There's a point there for you. Just because they're called stair slugs, and they commonly infest stairwells, doesn't mean they're not going to infest a ramp, right? So, just getting rid of the steps themselves and having a ramp, not going to do it for you. Yeah, you're still going to get stair slugs. So it's a little bit of a misnomer, but in common situations, they do exist on stairs, primarily. Any ramp-like surface will do, though. Stair slugs can be beneficial to a household, as they frequently feed on other pests such as mice and hobs, but the slimy residue they leave behind can lead to dangerous accidents and slippage if not properly cleaned after. Now here's a point in question. If they feed on hobs, technically, can you get rid of hobs by importing stair slugs? This is an Australia question. If you have cane toads, can you import something that eats cane toads into your house and get rid of the cane toads? Solution. Should you wish to remove a stair slug from the household, one can simply surround the affected stairway with a thick barrier of salt. Do not attempt to apply salt directly. Oh yeah, they get very defensive. After the slug has dehydrated itself, you can dispose of its body. Good to know, good to know. I imagine eating them would be fun though. Like if you made salted slug jerky. I bet dogs would love that too. So if you have animals, make sure to keep the dogs and cats away so they don't eat your stair slug. Okay, I'm gonna guess that your breathing problems are caused by black mold. Where's our black mold? That's bed teeth. You have bed teeth causing you breathing problems. Black mold. There you go. Hold on. Let me get this system right. I'm still having trouble seeing this. I'm an old man, you know? I'm an old man. Forgive me that. You have black mold. Check your ventilation. is very dangerous. You might die from it if you don't get that sorted out, right? A lot of people don't worry about their ventilation units. You really should have filters on those, and you should replace them frequently. Hello, you've reached Hyde at Home Safety Hotline. How may I assist you today?
Do you know if there's such a thing as house thieves that clean? Like, maybe
Mm-hmm.
to disguise the robbery? At night,
Yeah.
I keep hearing all this noise coming from my living room, but when I go look at it, I find the place spotless. But haven't yet found anything missing.
Do
I've
you have
been
a
talking with
vanity
the
in there?
cops, but they keep telling me to call this number.
Yeah.
So here I
Yeah.
am.
We
Is
get a
there
lot of
something you
calls
can
from
do?
that. Yeah, actually, that sounds a lot like a common hob. They do clean things, unless you have a desk in there or vanity. I'm gonna guess common hob. Yeah. Consume dust, dirt, and common sticky substances. Yeah, yeah, common hob. That'd be my guess, ma'am. If you give me more information about the furniture inside of your living room, it's possible that you have one of those old television stands, right? You remember that? Back when televisions used to be these big boxy CRT cathode ray tube things. You used to have one of those big. Maybe I'm talking about something no one's gonna understand. This might be outdated stuff. But they used to have these like hidden dresser kind of things where you pull the doors back and the TV would be in there, and on the side they would have like other things. Missed television stands. Yeah, yeah, they were very useful. You could hide a lot of things in there, and you didn't have to have the TV open all the time.
Yo, Buzz Goober here. Been having a heck of a
Hi,
night
Buzz.
over here. I got these snappers peeing and whooping and crying all over the place.
Uh
Just
huh.
all over the place. I got these
Buzz, you sound a lot like
chirping
Twig.
and whining, and I can't get a wink of sleep. She's trying to lay down over here. What you gonna do about all this?
Fellow old person in
Call
chat
about
understands. Yeah,
5,500
yeah. If you're old
times and
enough.
y'all haven't done a thing about it.
Buzz, I don't know what's happening here. You sound a lot like Twig from the other day, Twig Sigmund. If you are Twig Sigmund, thank you for letting me know that my fridge was gone. Sounds like Squidward? A little bit. A little bit. But the thing about television stands is, a lot of them in my childhood would store like VHS tapes, and you could put the VHS player uh, underneath it, and you could have it all connected. It would be very neat and tidy. We don't do that anymore because we don't have physical media.
I don't know what's going on inside my house.
Calm down,
I
ma'am.
hear
Just tell me the
something
facts.
crawling in the walls.
Yes?
I think I found teeth marks on my bedposts.
I see.
I can't sleep at night knowing there's something in my house. Help me, please.
Ma'am, please calm down. I am here to assist you. However, that's not nearly enough information. I think you have mice. If you have teeth marks and things in your walls, that sounds like mice to me. Let's make sure. Worthless rodents commonly found in the household. Gnaw marks, small round droppings, and sounds of squeaking. Yeah, I'm gonna say mice over carpenter ants here. Mostly for the gnaw marks, right? The thing about carpenter ants is they do kind of bite into wood, right? They do. So you could see scratches, but they're so tiny, their mandibles, that I don't think it would actually be that big of a problem for gnaw marks. Ma'am, you have mice, it's a common problem. Trust me, I deal with a lot worse from the day-to-day stuff. You don't even have, like, black mold infesting your lungs. You're fine. Everything will be okay, ma'am. Yeah. It's surprising to see mice used again, but mice are a fairly common problem in households. Like, even in households where you don't actually see the mice, they're still there. When I was growing up in the rural countryside, we had specific kinds of mice. They were field mice, and they were smaller and harder to see. Hello, welcome to Hyde. How
Yeah,
can I
hey,
help
I'm
you?
calling about a noise I've been hearing in my house lately. Sounds like
Sure.
scratching or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
real quiet. So
Yeah,
definitely some kind of pest in my walls. I've sent
sure.
out all kinds of traps, but I thought one worked for a while. Then I started hearing it again this week.
I
I
see, I
thankfully
see.
haven't seen any visible damage or drop
Okay, so you have a faint rustling noise in your walls, no droppings, and your traps aren't working. I assume you were using rat traps, in which case you have a carpenter ant infestation. Yes. Small insects known for nesting inside of wood. Sometimes report a faint rustling sound coming from their walls. Very good. See, this is why you gotta read the employee manual before you actually do the work. First thing I do when I get a new job is I read the manual. I know. It's strange. But, I'd like to know what I'm doing. So you have carpenter ants. I don't like surprises, right? When you get a new job and there are new tasks put on you from day to day. The surprises are the worst part. Knowing what you're doing is actually... Nerd. I'm sorry. I don't actually hate working, you know? I like working specific jobs, especially. But I like working. And I like knowing what I'm doing when I'm working. Hello, welcome to Home Safety Hotline. You've got Hyde. How can I help you?
Do you guys handle security? I need home
No.
security installed. Someone's breaking into my house and going through all my stuff at night. I know it's Bob from accounting.
Uh-huh.
He's always been envious of me.
Sir,
I know
please
what
calm
you're
down.
doing, Bob. Going through
Sir,
my papers,
please.
taunting me with your organization skills. I need the
Okay.
best home security equipment. Pronto!
Sir, uh, I don't think Bob's breaking into your house. Maybe he is. Maybe he is taunting you. I'm not going to tell you you're paranoid because I'm a paranoid person myself. And the more time I live on this green earth of ours, the less paranoid I feel. And the more validated I am for thinking that the earth is flat and that conspiracy theories are real. And that aliens are in the highest echelons of our governments. Not that our governments matter. It's the shadow governments that do. So no, I understand your paranoia. It's well justified. Maybe Bob is out to stop you in your job, but you in fact have a desk hob. So I'm sorry to report to you that you need to leave breadcrumbs on your desk at night from now on. If you do not have breadcrumbs, perhaps because you have a gluten intolerance, you're gonna have to start buying bread for no other purpose than to create breadcrumbs. And remember, they like crumbs, and modern bread does not create crumbs because it is some kind of weird, cakey yoga mat material, right? You know that about fresh bread? Like Wonder Bread in the store. It isn't actually bread. It doesn't create crumbs anymore. It just creates this powdery stuff. Shift has ended. You have reached the end of your scheduled work session for today. Look at that. 100% accuracy. That's what reading the manual gets you. 100% accuracy. This is my first time playing the game. I have seen it played before, to be fair, but this is my first time playing it. And, some of the store bakery stuff is more normal bread. It isn't. It isn't. It's manufactured in a slightly different way, perhaps with different materials. We got a new broadcast here. Let's check that out. What is this? Real estate update. Okay. It's free real estate updates. A house. It's actually not a bad price for that house. Like, when was this game made? I'm guessing it was a while ago. 1996? Okay. Okay, that's a lot for 1996. Like, back in 1996, you could buy this huge mansion of a house for $104,000. Crusty and whatnot? Yeah, that's actually a matter of how they're baked. Crusty breads tend to be baked in steam, and they have lower fat percentages, lower sugar percentages. Community alert. Civil authority has issued a missing persons alert for the following counties: Bush County, Maple County, Parkway County, Berry County. It sounds like things you'd find in, like, Virginia.
This is a missing persons alert. Authorities are
Really
currently
nice
looking
pumpernickel
for
loaves.
missing child Robbie
Uh,
Parker, male, brown hair,
Robbie
approximately
Parker.
4 feet tall, last seen wearing a yellow shirt, brown
Oh
shorts,
man,
and
that's
white
rough.
tennis shoes. Suspect is described to be approximately 6 feet tall, barefoot, wearing a large bush or shrub on their person. Last seen at
Bush or
approximately
shrub?
10:25 a.m. Please report any unusual activity to your local authorities.
That's a That's very low for the price. It looks like someone was abducted by a Sasquatch or someone in a ghillie suit. Uh, Back to bread though. um, the interesting thing about breads is the crust is really more dependent on things like uh, the fat content of the dough, how much oil or fat is used, how much sugar is used. More sugar means more caramelization, but it also means softer dough and softer crust, whether or not it's washed with a glaze of anything. So sometimes you'll get Italian loaves of bread that are coated in olive oil, and depending on what the crust is like or what the dough is originally like, that can either lead it to being soft crust or a harder crust, right? Like if you fry your bread, it's going to have a hard crust. And if you have a hot enough oven, you're going to get a hot crust or hot enough to maybe fry the crust. It depends, right? So it's not necessarily anything to do with being actual bread, and it's all to do with the physics of the bread making process itself, the physics and the chemistry. See, the thing is, in a traditional loaf of bread, the starches are what caramelize on the surface to create a crust. Um, the starch is left in the wheat flour. So the wheat flour, when hydrated, will create this sticky starch substance, and that's what caramelizes, and that's what browns to create a crust. And if you have a commercial oven, it's very hard to get very thick crusts. You have to steam inject your oven. Use either a Dutch oven with some ice cubes at the bottom, and that'll create steam that gets trapped in the Dutch oven, and that'll make a nice wet environment to hydrate those starches on the surface of your bread dough. Or if you have a you know an oven that's actually made for steam injection, like most bakers do, you can get that crispy crust even with a loaf of garbage bread that you would buy from a store. So it's not necessarily that the materials are all that much different. Even with even with dough conditioners, you can get either kind of crust you want. But modern breads are made for sandwiches, and if you had a crusty bread with a nicely developed crumb, high gluten content, rather than cakey, what you would have is things slopping out of it, right? Like that's the entire purpose of modern loaf of bread, that you have this nice squishable, not really compactable, gluten-free kind of sort of bread that you can make a sandwich out of, and it spreads and it tears very well. It's a well-developed product, but it's not bread. It's more like a cake in the sense that the crumb will crumble and form these dense dough balls. And a lot of that has to do with the fats and sugars added. That's why it's all so sweet and soft. The fun fact about stale bread is it goes stale because it's mostly hydrated with water, right? And the water will migrate out to the crust, making the crust a lot softer. Or if you leave it out on the surface of a counter, it will get hard. That's why we had bread boxes back in the day. Too poor for yeah, yeah. It does go bad. That's one of the problems the dough conditioners help with the modern product. um, I eat bread daily. I make my own bread because I like bread. Bread is my favorite food, and if I didn't have bread, uh, I'd be very unhappy in my life. Unfortunately, most bread you can get around where I live is the bad kind of bread. So I understand you completely. Modern preservatives, it's mostly a matter of sugar and fats in the case of staleness, right? Here's the thing. Molds do not like highly acidic environments, so you might find vinegar added to your bread in your commercial breads that are pre-sliced. They do not like low moisture environments, so in baking, if you replace water in a substance with fat or oil, that will help inhibit mold growth. And they do not like highly sugar environments, right? Like there's a fine line between too much sugar and too little sugar. Um, but even when you're fermenting things like alcohol, if you have too much sugar, you'll actually kill the yeast, which is a fungus. So you got to be very careful if you're doing that on purpose. But otherwise, a lot of sugar actually helps preserve something. And these substances also keep it moist without losing the moistness of the water. So they'll stay fresh in the sense that they won't go stale and crusty a lot longer. That's why you can have shelves of pre-sliced loaves of bread that last in a supermarket for weeks on end. It's a very interesting product, and I do enjoy it. I enjoy that it exists, but at the same time, it's definitely a problem. Subject line, it's too late for you now to pay, give access to more info, didn't they? I warned you. If you end up like it's me, join me in this hole. They haven't found me yet. It's a safe, Hitler. This guy turned into a rat. Interesting? It really isn't interesting. It's all about business. It's all about business. And I like business, but I also don't like business. Network errors. Attention call team, our network team is migrating our backend services over to a new hosting provider this week, so you may experience some occasional network errors over the next few days. Please be sure you are studying your information entries carefully. I am, while you still have access in case the network goes down, while you are on the phone with the client. You'll still be expected to provide accurate answers to our callers regardless of the network status. That's harsh. That's why I always keep physical copies of my manuals when I get them. I print them out if I ever get a digital copy, and I just keep it there for exactly this reason. Well, I'm glad if you found it interesting. I find bread making interesting. However, I've never found pre-sliced loaves of bread to be bread. So I've always wondered why they weren't. The apple market, right? Like, a lot of people think red delicious apples are these tasteless bland things, but they're not. They're only like that commercially because that's what is shelf stable. They never allow them to ripen, and they never really have the full chance to get flavor. Subject line, daily coupon. Used horseshoe. They are supposed to be used if you want them for luck. Congratulations, employee. Your high accuracy rate has awarded you today's daily coupon. Today's daily coupon is used for a used horseshoe. Our stock of used horseshoes are as reliable as they are rusty. 90% of our supply are verifiably forged from real iron. Guaranteed to maybe only give you tetanus. Supplies run out quickly, so stock up while you can. To receive your discount, simply type the following code during your online checkout. A great deal for sure. I hate that. Keep up the great work, employee. I hate that pun. Yeah, it's fine. Like, they are supposed to be used horseshoes if you're going to use them to hang them up in your household. And here's the thing. A lot of people get this wrong. If you're using horseshoes for good luck, you're supposed to keep them like curved side down, opening up. If you keep them up like that, the good luck will fill them like a cup. And if you nail them upside down where the curve is at the top, then the luck will all spill out. So that's how you remember that. Are we going to get more today, Carol? I'm expecting a call from Carol. It's Wednesday. It's our third day on the job. We have 100% accuracy so far. So I'm very happy about that. I'm doing my job very well. Hello, you've reached Home Safety Hotline. You've got Hyde. Oh,
Hello,
it's Carol.
Supervisor Carol here again. We've
Hello,
updated your
Carol.
permissions. You should now have access to more extensive information to
I don't
work
know how
with
much more my
privilege
brain can
control.
take.
Please be sure to read these new entries carefully so you
I
can
will.
continue providing our
Rest
clients
assured, I
with
will.
accurate diagnoses. Please remember that this information is strictly confidential
Of
and not
course, I'd never share
unless pertinent
it.
to your caller's needs.
I'd
Thank
never
you.
share this. Trust me, Carol. I'm not sharing it with a couple people right now. Carol is not an AI. Don't say that. You know, I was thinking about AI and how this job would kind of be replaced by AI. Hello, welcome to Home Safety Hotline. You've reached Hyde. How may I assist you?
Something in the basement.
Sure.
I've seen it. It's huge, almost as big as my dog. It doesn't
Yes.
hiss or growl or anything, but I
Might be a
haven't gotten
raccoon.
close enough to it to find out what it is since it's always just lurking out of sight from the top of the stairs.
Right.
I need someone to come get this thing out of my basement as soon as possible.
That
I
might not
closed
be
the door since
possible.
I can still hear the steps creaking under its weight down there.
So it's walking up and down the stairs. Are you sure it's not a slug? Does it look like a slug? It might be a slug. I was thinking about this job, and like this game would be what people would want AI to be, answering these questions for them. Or at least that's what businesses would want, right? AI to answer questions for people instead of people. What do we have here? Do you make noise, Bogart? Maybe. Very technological sound, space age. But I don't think that's ever going to happen because of, first of all, hallucinations are going to give you false answers more often than not. They're very useful tools. Like, a lot of people are scared of AI. I'm not. I think AI might be overused, and they might... There is the risk of a hammer being used in a situation when you might need a saw. It's always the case. The best tool is not always the most available tool. So I understand that. And yes, I am worried about human stability, right? Like, I think humans should be encouraged to do the kind of jobs they want to do, what they would like to do. I don't think any human would want to do the job I'm doing right now. So maybe that's fine for AI replacing it. However, there's also the issue of not having enough work for all humans anyway. I don't know. It's a complicated issue. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. You could so easily jailbreak one of these large learning models to get them to answer you somehow that really the company shouldn't want to be liable for, which is probably why we're not seeing them in larger use nowadays anyway, right? You can get ChatGPT to say all kinds of things that are against their programming by simply asking the right questions, for example. Or asking them to do the right things or the wrong things in the right way. So I don't ever see that replacing humans. You'd need a true artificial intelligence, a true sort of sentience, if not sapience. And for those of you who do not know the difference between sentience and sapience, sapience means a feeling thing, and sentience means a thinking thing. You'd need something that is truly thinking in order to actually not break the rules like they're supposed to. Preferably with consequences, right? That's one of the hard things about AI, making sure there are consequences for the AI, and rewards as well. Like, the human brain is remarkable in that it will flood your brain with dopamine if you do something it likes or needs. You eat something when you're starving, you get a dopamine rush. Very good, you get rewarded for that. Boggarts is the general term for a metamorphosed hob. They are large, hairy humanoids between 6 to 7 feet tall and bear fairly convincing false faces. They're known for causing household accidents such as flooding, fires, or electric outages. Yeah, that's a real face. They also frequently observe their targets while they sleep, just like Santa Claus. Boggarts are extremely dangerous to humans and pets due to their malicious nightly household activities, which can often cause injury or death. They also react very violently when seen by humans. Ooh, that's not good, just like Santa Claus. Thankfully, these instances are rare as they excel at staying hidden. Do not under any circumstances refer to an active boggart by any name. Once you become aware of its presence, simply vacate the premises. Provided you do not speak of the boggart at any time, in any fashion, it will remain in its original location. So you're telling me I'd have to sell my house if one of these infested it? What happens if you light your house on fire? Will they go away? False artifact. I like the sounds of that. You ever hear of the term, OO-apart? O-O, out of... What is the term for that? Out of place object. Yes, that's what it is. Out of place artifact in the sense of art specifically. So out of place would be things that should not exist, like machines in the 800s BC or something. Things made of iron with clockwork, that kind of thing. That's what this is kind of leaning on, I think. False artifacts are seemingly human-designed art objects that can manifest suddenly inside a home. They're known for making gentle buzzing sounds that can usually only be heard by very young children, or small animals. The same thing. Homeowners with false artifacts often report out of place objects or missing children or pets. Yeah, out of place is the right way of saying it. Um, out of place in this sense means something that shouldn't be there, but is consistent with being there. But when we're talking about out of place objects, we're talking about out of time, really. Anachronistic would be a better way of describing them. Things like spark plugs, 200 years ago. I will not say more on that subject. Conspiracy theories are fun. False artifacts, while not a direct threat to adult humans, can pose a significant risk to small human children and animals. Should a child or pet be left alone with a false artifact, they are at risk of being encased within. Once encased, no noise made by the prey can be heard. These are mimics. These are classical D&D mimics with a new face. While digestion can take upwards of several years to complete, starvation can be a more pressing concern. Yeah, if you get eaten by a chest, you're probably going to starve before anything else. Once a false artifact has been identified, removal is as simple as physically moving the object out of one's home. HSH pest removal services should be called to come and remove the object. Should a pet or loved one already be encased within, one can utilize a memory wisp to speed up the grieving process. Oh, I see. There's no saving them. It's not like a chest where you can just open it back up and get the kid out. They're dead. Okay, got it. Oops, no. No, sorry. Wrong button. False rose bush. Oh, it has little legs. Do you see that? The little legs underneath the bush? I see. Wait. Is this the thing that was supposed to be, kidnapping the kid? Is this like one of those drift limbs or drift balloons where a kid gets led away by, basically a rose bush with feet? It does have bare feet, too. False rose bushes are large plant-like creatures that most commonly take on the appearance of a red rose bush. In place of roots, these creatures have two small humanoid feet that they use to chase down prey. They're ambush predators. I see. Homeowners with false rose bushes sometimes report missing pets or children. One of those is more important than the other. Keep your pets safe, everyone. False rose bushes pose incredible danger to homeowners with children or pets, as their diet consists of small mammals. And as we all know, children are small mammals. And they are known to be fast and efficient hunters. Homeowners without children or pets face a reduced risk as they cannot swallow whole anything larger than themselves. To remove a false rose bush from a garden they have inhabited, it is advised to keep children or pets from venturing outside within its hunting range for an extended period. If a false rose bush goes more than 1 month without eating, it'll move on to new territory on its own. Yeah, but what if you have neighbors, right? Like, what if your neighbors have kids, or they have pets and they let them out? Like, how are you supposed to tell your neighbors, hey, I have this rosebush thing that's eating people, please do not let your children out? And if they do, like, it's not my problem. You're liable for that. You're liable for if a kid slips and falls in your pool and drowns, right? So you'd be liable if a rosebush in your yard were eating children. Lamp sprites are a common subspecies of sprite that make their homes inside lamp fixtures. They're known for causing the lamps they inhabit to flicker or burn hotter, sometimes causing a burning smell in the home, like a house fire. Lamp sprites are not dangerous to humans unless provoked. Do not, under any circumstances, turn off the lamp or attempt to reach your hand inside the lamp when actively inhabited. I guess it sucks if you have a lamp pull string. You remember those when lamps used to have pull strings? I always liked the ka-chunk noise when you pulled on a lamp with a pull string. Nowadays they all have like knobs or buttons. I don't like that. I miss the pull strings. Lamp sprites are not dangerous. Oh, sorry. Lamp sprites will leave on their own once their lamp of choice goes out on its own. At this point, they will attempt to seek out a new lamp. Unfortunately now, like, all lamps are incandescent. They have those little coil lamps, or not incandescent. What am I talking about? A lot of lamps are LED now, so they will not burn out for a very long time. Fun to fiddle with? They were fun to fiddle with. I like the analog style too, right? Like they relied on a pulley system to turn things. I really liked that. And now we have these electronic things. I don't know. Maybe the electronics will get fried before the light bulb ever goes out. But in the era of LEDs, like, this is gonna be a problem, these lamp sprites. Prevent a lamp sprite from rehoming itself. Ensure all household lamps are turned off until the expiration period. When the lamp sprite fails to find an active lamp, it'll leave the home on its own. Very good. Very good. Tell me about these memory sprites. That's our next one, right? Yeah. Ooh, we get another one of these sound files. You know what these remind me of? These sound files remind me of the original Pokemon games, where they would just have those weird noises for Pokemon noises. Like, originally, Pokemon did not say, Pika Pikachu! It went, and it was all compressed because it was running through a Game Boy speaker. Yeah, if you've never experienced that, go back to the old Pokedex and look at the old noises. I remember it was even that case up until, I think it was Sapphire at the very least, Pokemon Sapphire for the Game Boy Advance. And probably Diamond and Pearl. I don't know about the more modern ones. Those were kind of my last ones. Note, due to clerical error, the audio sample provided above is incorrect. This issue will be corrected by the end of the month. It's incorrect? Or were we just affected by the memory sprite? Newer games are like that too, with the exceptions of Pikachu. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it. I haven't played the new Pokemon, so I can't say. I do know that Pikachu got a change to be Pika Pika. And that's saying something, right? Like, I started with Pokemon Yellow. So I started out with Pikachu as my first Pokemon ever. And I don't know how to feel about that. It's like history is being rewritten. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It might be a better history, truer to what they intended it to be. It just makes them feel less like animals and more like sentient creatures that were having fight for us. Also started with Yellow. It was a classic. I really liked the specific animations. Like Red and Blue didn't have the Pikachu animations where you could talk to it and it would do certain things. Yeah. That really got more into it in like the parks for Pokemon Gold and Silver, I think. Did more of that where you could just have cute Pokemon with you at all times in the parks. Diamond and Pearl did more of it, and I guess the more recent Pokemon have apparently just allowed you to have a Pokemon following you at all times, which is cool, I guess. Memory wisps are invisible and odorless household wisps that are known for removing memories from the home and its homeowners. Homeowners infested with memory wisps will often report missing pictures, photo albums, and the inability to remember the faces of loved ones. I have that all the time, it's fine. Amity Square? Yeah. Are you sure I'm thinking of Amity Square? Maybe I am. I could have sworn there was a park in Gold and Yellow that had Sunkerns in it. Gold and Yellow was the first one to have a day-night cycle, right? I'm pretty sure that was the first one to have day-night cycle. Blue, Red definitely didn't. Yellow, I don't think had day-night cycle. I think Gen 2 did. And in the park, I think there were... Maybe. Park and Gold and Silver, but... Oh, I see. My bad. I'm conflating the two. Okay. That's quite possible. I can't remember. I have been affected by a memory wisp. Memory wisps are not a danger to the physical health of humans. However, their ability to affect human memory can sometimes lead to household accidents or reckless activity. Memory wisps will move out of the house on their own once they have stolen away the inhabitants' memories. I guess my house is free of them because I have no memories. There is no need for further action. It's kind of a blessing to forget things sometimes, right? Park in Gold and Silver is where the bug catching contest happened. That sounds like something I would enjoy. I don't remember it, but maybe that was the case. Mirror Nymph. Ooh. I was just talking about mirrors today. Like, Queen Elizabeth, one of them, I can't remember which one, not the modern one, but like 1500s Queen Elizabeth something the something, had a sort of occultist advisor named John Dee. Alzheimer's Unite. Hi, Momomo. Yes, that is how it goes. Early onset. I'm an old man. I have perfectly onset Alzheimer's going on here. But yeah. John Dee used to have spirit mirrors, and that was one of the big things, right? Mirror nymphs are a subspecies of nymph that are known for stealing the likeness of homeowners and passers-by, generally small, faceless, and voiceless humanoids, carrying a large mirror that they beck on others to look into. Homeowners afflicted by mirror nymphs commonly report not being able to recognize their own face. I can't do that either. It's just called face blindness. Mirror nymphs, although a nuisance, are not a direct danger to humans. Mirror nymphs will wander to different locations provided nobody looks into the mirror. Affected homeowners can restore their likeness by catching the mirror nymph and breaking its mirror with an iron implement. See, there's a lot of folklore here. Again, from Fae being vulnerable to iron, which is a true story, by the way. A lot of original folklore about the Fae and fairy folk have them being quite damaged by iron, and iron specifically, not silver, but iron, because iron was refined by humans from the earth. It had no holy properties, it was just earthly. To spiritual mirrors, where you could see into a different realm, or into the realm of the soul, through a mirror. Very common stuff in early folklore. I think we're gonna have a BRB here, and I'll be back to actually do a little bit more of this game. So this is very strange for me to have a BRB. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Yes. But yes, early onset brain rot. See you soon. Nope, wrong one. This one. Yes, I want to keep playing, so we're gonna keep doing this. But I do need a BRB. Well, I don't usually do BRBs in my stream. uh, it's a rarity, right? I usually don't play long enough for that to be a problem. Um, Speaking of Momomo being here, did you know that Momomo here is actually a VTuber himself? And, coincidentally, he is the first person I ever saw play this game. How long ago was that, Momomo? It seems like it was a long time ago. And I remember a lot of people telling me that this game would be my style. But I watched your playthrough of it, and even though I remember that now, it's been so long I do not remember what you did. Yeah. I don't know. It's been a long time. But yeah. The BRBs, it's important for a streamer to have a BRB. Like, not only for physiological reasons, like you gotta get up and stretch your legs, otherwise you're gonna get deep vein thromboses, which could split off and cause problems, which, stretch. Everybody should stretch. In my case, I'm addicted to nicotine, so I need that. T-Sprite, okay. Whenever I start stumbling over words, usually that's nicotine withdrawal. So I should be reading better now. Tree sprites are... I say that and I say tree sprites. Tea sprites are a subspecies of sprite that are known to feed off of tea and tea leaf residue. Homeowners infested with tea sprites commonly report leaf-like droppings and sounds of fluttering near kitchens. Tea sprites are not directly dangerous to humans, but they are known to spread various deadly diseases, including the fatal Fey flu, and should be removed as soon as possible. Tea sprites can be removed with various common household pesticides and traps, provided they are baited with tea leaves. To avoid future infestations, be sure to always clean teacups, kettles, and mugs after use. I'm American, so that's never a problem. We don't even have tea kettles. Like, I'm sure that would be very strange to a lot of European and even the rest of the world, really. Like, tea is one of the number one consumed drinks in the rest of the world, right? Here it's either coffee or soda. So, we don't even have tea kettles in most homes, which is strange, right? Toilet hobs. Didn't we have pipe hobs? Isn't a toilet just a large pipe for a different purpose? Why do we need a difference between a toilet hob and a pipe hob? Toilet hobs are a subspecies of hob that are known for homing inside toilets. They bear false faces, much like the fracture hob and the bogart. They have two separate clumps of wispy hair on each side of their heads. Like most hobs, they tend to clean their homes when they are active at night, keeping the toilets they inhabit nearly spotless. Tell you what, we could use a lot of those in convenience stores. Convenience stores here in the USA, those would be gas stations, petrol stations for Europeans. They have some of the worst bathrooms I've ever seen. Like, they don't even care. So if we could get some toilet hobs in those, I'd be a lot happier. Toilet hobs are not dangerous on their own, but their physical presence within the toilet they inhabit may result in plumbing problems over time, such as leaks or clogs. Like any other hob, they are also capable of metamorphosing. Toilet hobs cannot be removed once they nest. To prevent further danger, measures to prevent metamorphosis should be taken as soon as possible. It's advised to leave an egg near the toilet each night before going to bed. I wonder why it's an egg. Probably the sulfur compounds, right? I want hobs in my house. How do I attract them? It's a great question. It doesn't say. I guess pipe hobs if you have pipe. It seems to be the case that a lot of these things do cleaning, right? Like, the common hob will clean dust and grime and sticky floors. Unicorn fungi. So, if you don't clean your house, I guess that's how you attract common hobs. And if you leave breadcrumbs on your desk, that's what the desk hob's like. It didn't say what the fracture hob's like, did it? Oh no, it did. It said cheese. And common hobs liked milk. So if you leave these things out, or if your hair and skin cells go into your drain and you never unclog it, maybe that's how you get those hobs. It's never really mentioned, is it? Like, what attracts these hobs to the house? I wouldn't mind a common hob, other than the metamorphosing. But they haven't moved in yet? Are you not cleaning your home? That's not very good for your health. I kind of get the impression that the fungi and the aspergillus and carpenter ants and things like that will infest your house before the hobs do. It does make me wonder about these people, though, you know? Unicorn fungi are a rare horn-shaped fungus that are known to grow on the heads of furry mammals and household pets. They often affect the animal's disposition, so it's kind of like cordyceps. Sometimes me tired. Yeah, that's fair, you know. It's hard being an adult, isn't it? Taking care of all of your needs and working, and just there's very rarely any time for fun. But that's exactly what the body and the mind need to keep continuing doing the other things that support like life functions, right? So it's understandable. However, I think you're going to get other pests like cockroaches and fungi before you're going to attract any of the hobs, especially if you have iron in your household. These seem to be playing by Fae rules, and I do like the folklore of the Fae. uh, I have some Celtic heritage in me. I won't say from where or how much, but I have some, and I have always been fascinated by Fae folklore, from Fae arches in the woods to the fact that iron can affect most Fae, even the Doolahans. Humans weren't meant to handle all our needs. No, well, I don't think that's true. Yes, we were kind of evolving for that kind of small society, but I don't think it's supposed to be in communities. I think it's it's more of a tribe kind of situation, right? Like anything more than 14 people, and you're gonna have problems. I know there was some research saying that the average human can remember up to about 100 faces, and that's about it. I think that's too much for one community. I think that's maybe a couple different tribes in an area, and that was kind of the limit for what our brains evolved to do. My brain can't remember one face, so you're all better than I am. Being picky with the exact words? Sure, sure. But that's where the humor comes in, right? Yeah. They often affect the animal's disposition, causing them to be drawn to the soil. Homeowners often report their pets furiously digging around or inside their home. Unicorn fungi are not directly harmful to humans, but they can often lead to other household problems, such as broken floorboards, uprooted plants, or waking up other things beneath the soil. Right, remember, the moles have ties to the ones that dwell beneath the soil. Unicorn fungi will go away after a few months on its own without treatment. It can also be treated with cryotherapy or removed surgically. If removal needs expediting, to prevent unicorn fungi from developing, regularly bathe your pet, especially after any outdoor activities. It's always a good idea to check for ticks at the very least. Do a little combing of your pets for check for ticks. Someone to handle the cleaning? Yeah, yeah. Cooking is fun. Silly is fun. I actually don't mind cleaning. Like, I was realizing this. I don't actually mind cleaning. The only thing I really hate cleaning are, like, floors and ceilings, because I have to get something to clean the ceiling. Especially if I have, like, very high ceilings. If you have, like... The average story is, what, 10 to 12 feet? That can be a problem if you're not 10 foot tall. Hate cleaning? It can be relaxing, much like these whistling fungi are. It's very heavenly. It would enjoy that a great deal. My favorite cleaning is doing the dishes and doing the laundry. I don't like vacuuming. Vacuuming is too loud for me. It hurts my ears. Not for you. I see. I don't know. I think there's something fun about the mindless nature of washing and drying dishes by hand. Or doing laundry, like folding laundry. It's kind of fun. D. I'm sorry that that's not the case for some of you out there, but it's the case for me. And I kind of do enjoy it. I also enjoy baking and cooking in general when I get the time. It's mostly the fact that I don't have the time or energy these days from doing other things that makes me not enjoy these kind of tasks. And I think that's true for a lot of people, you know? I think it's true that they spend so much of their days working. They don't enjoy like the things that actually matter to their own survival. Whether it be feeding themselves, cleaning their domiciles, or actually resting properly. Like it can't be enjoyed because you're just so physically dog tired and mentally strained. Dishes are literally your least favorite task. Oh, they're not that bad. Like dishes are pretty easy. You can't screw them up unless you have cast iron, right? If you have a cast iron pan or pot or something, I could understand not wanting to clean that. Those are a pain. You wipe them out, if you're lucky, with a paper towel when they're cool. However, you've got to wait for them to cool, and if you have food stuck on there, you gotta brush them with like a wired pad or something, and then you gotta re-season them. That's a pain. But any kind of ceramic plate, silverware, like you can't even scratch those things with most sponges. You can scrub as much as you want, and it's not going to be a problem. Laundry is just one of those mindless tasks, right? Sheets smell nice, yes, and they don't have bed teeth. It's just one of those mindless tasks that's just enjoyable. You get to turn your mind off and not exist for a moment while you do something with your hands. Oh, I see, I see. I see. I don't wash with gloves on my hands. That's probably. I don't like gloves on my hand when I wash dishes. I don't like latex on my hands. I don't. Latex gloves are kind of the worst feeling for me because they get sweaty on the inside, and when water gets underneath them, it just feels very gross. I understand that. However, I rarely leave food on my plate. Like, food was such a rarity, or not a rarity, but it was kind of sacred in my family, right? It wasn't like I was starving as a kid. Like, I know what my weight is, and I understand that my BMI is probably dangerous. However, food is not and was not a rarity. It was just important. You never wasted it, if you could help it. So at most, my plates have residues. So yeah, I can't relate to that. I rarely have to wash anything residual. And I use rubber scrapers on all dishes that I make, if they have like a sauce or something, and I try not to waste that either. Whistling fungi are small mushroom-like growths with many small holes in their caps that frequently grow through drywall gaps and cracks. Homeowners infested with whistling fungi often report a distant whistling sound coming from their walls. Warning: if you ever hear whistling fungi singing in harmony, evacuate your home immediately. Whistling fungi are rarely dangerous to humans, but their growth can cause foundational problems. And why do you have to leave when they're singing? If whistling fungi ever sing in harmony, evacuate your home immediately and do not return for any reason. Otherwise, whistling fungi can be removed with common weed killers by utilizing HSH's fungal removal services. To prevent a whistling fungi infestation, ensure there are no open cracks in your home. So these things probably pair pretty well with fracture hobs, right? Fracture hobs are the ones that like cheese and have the false face. I don't know. I guess just don't have fractures in your home. It's kind of untenable though, right? The thing with fractures in homes is fractures are caused by the shifting of the ground beneath the home. Things like foundations are very important, but if your foundation is too solid, uh, the ground itself will press against your walls and cause the walls themselves to fracture. So you gotta have some lean and give to it, especially if you have a basement. I don't know, especially water, right? Like groundwater is gonna press against those walls and cause erosion and weathering and cause it to just break down. Wine Sprite. Oh no, even my wine isn't safe. This isn't great. Wine sprites are a subspecies of sprite that are known for consuming wine. They're small, large-eyed, winged creatures with translucent skin that often appears red while they're feeding. They have a long proboscis that they use to drink. Homeowners infested with wine sprites commonly report broken glasses, and their wine having a rotten taste and smell. I would hate this kind of infestation. I'm an avid home brewer, and I make a lot of homemade wine. If this ever happened to me, I don't know what I would do. I, I would hate that so very much. Like, I know my wine doesn't taste very good, so that wouldn't be a problem, but breaking my glasses? I'd have to get rid of every wine glass in my house, which is fine. You know what I usually drink out of? I don't like drinking out of plastic bottles. I really don't. So, whenever I have wine, it's usually in glass, like today's bottle. Coffee wine. Let's see if you can hear it. I think that's picking up. Yeah, that's a glass bottle. Most times I have a Sprite bottle, a glass Sprite bottle. But if I don't do that, I have this nice little metal wine cup. And I have dropped that thing so many times. Not while drinking, while washing or drying it, I have dropped my wine cup. And it saved me a lot of hassle cleaning up broken glass. I highly recommend them. I think mine is an Ozark Trails one, and they're very nice to take with you while you're camping if you're going to take wine or alcohol with you. I do not recommend this. I do not recommend going into the woods while drunk or taking alcohol with you while you're hiking, except that it's very fun to do so. But if you're gonna do so, get yourself a metal Ozark Trail or something. Metal wine glass. Make sure it's nice and insulated if you can. Yeah. Or maybe a thermos. I hate putting wine in thermoses, though, because they're very hard to clean. Wine sprites are not directly dangerous to humans. It's very dangerous to my well-being if you ruin my wine. Look, I know what I've said before. I know I've talked about hiking while drunk before, but, I was heading home at that time. Yeah, I know. I know I've talked about it before. It's fun, okay? When your muscles are tired, and you want to head home, and you know your way, and it's pretty safe. The trails are pretty safe. Like, I do not recommend drinking while you're hiking along a dangerous path, a narrow path on the mountains with a high cliff. I do not recommend that. But if your ground is pretty level, and there aren't too many roots, and it's not dark out, then it can be perfectly fine, right? It's fine for the stress reducing factor of it. And it's pretty hydrating, right? Like, there's been some research that I selectively think is important, whether or not it's contradictory to most reports on the matter. There is some research that might suggest a link between muscle fatigue recovery and drinking alcohol after fatiguing your muscles. Getting lost? I have hiked nearly 20 years of my life. Probably more. Not consistently, but I have been hiking in the woods, random woods, for over 20 years of my life. And I do not remember getting lost more than once. And I wasn't lost, I just ended up on the other side of the mountain. I knew where I was, I just didn't know how to get back through a trail, right? That's why you follow trails if you're going to new trails. I knew how to get back to where I was supposed to be, where my car was. It's just I couldn't get there without going back over the mountain. I lost the trail. So I've not been lost more than once. I knew where I was, roughly. Yeah, near misses can happen. And they're very dangerous. I highly recommend that anyone who goes hiking take a physical paper map, topographical map, they're very useful, and a compass, and learn roughly how to use them. Look for identifying landmarks, and be sure that you can navigate based on relative topography. That's the great thing about topographic maps. You can roughly understand how high you are compared to the lowest point, say a valley, and then you can navigate from landmarks where you should roughly be going, what direction you should roughly be going. Because again, most maps in the US are oriented with due north up. So that's very easy to navigate yourself out of a forest. However, if you rely on GPS and digital technologies, there are some places that just don't get service, whether it be because of the topography itself, you're in a valley and the mountains themselves are blocking the signal, or because there's just no cell coverage, you know? Don't rely on that. Always learn how to do things by the physical media. That way you don't have to run the risk of getting lost. Yeah. Yeah, and always tell people that you're going hiking, which is something I never do. Always tell them where you're going to be hiking and your last known location, or where you're thinking your last known location will be. That'll make the search for your body or or whether it be alive or dead. That'll make the search a lot easier, right? On the people searching for you. So please do that. Let people know. They will worry. Hypocrite. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, I was raised in the mountains, you know? They'll claim me someday. They'll claim my body for themselves. And I'll be back in the green earth, underneath a pine barren or something. But yeah, do as I say, not as I do. Wine sprites are not directly dangerous to humans, but they are known to spread various deadly diseases, including the fatal Fey flu, and should be removed as soon as possible. Wine sprites can be removed with various common household pesticides and traps, provided they are baited with wine. To avoid future infestations, be sure to always clean wine glasses and containers immediately after use. I do that, but I like doing dishes. So maybe that's not common. I understand if you get sleepy after you're drinking wine that you might not do that. Wood secretions. You know what this image reminds me of? This image reminds me of the introductory scene of the movie Ghostbusters in the library in the basement with the cue cards, or not the cue cards, the what are they called? Uh, they're cards of some type where they tell you the book. Card catalog. Card catalog. There we go. No one uses those anymore. They're all digital. But back in the day, that's how libraries kept track of their books. Wood secretions are a pink viscous substance that can sometimes form from wood that has been mistreated. It is known to drip from wooden materials such as furniture or walls, causing a sticky, pulling buildup. Wood secretions can be deadly to humans, causing a rapid translation of flesh if ingested. What? What do you mean rapid translation? Translation how? Into what? Keep animals and human children away from secretions at all costs, as its foul odor will be interpreted as a sweet candy-like smell to them. That is true. Humans and animals have different senses of smell, especially young children. Like, I haven't talked about it, but this game goes into it, right? Small children can hear different frequencies of sound than adult humans can. Human sound, or human hearing, actually degrades in a certain sense, in certain bands of frequency over time. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but the same is true for taste. Human taste changes as you age, and so does smell. So things that you would not enjoy as a child, like vegetables, for instance, you know, the bitter taste of vegetables is more apparent to children than it is to adults. So yeah, this is very real. They could smell something very different. Hear electricity? Yeah, the hum. Higher frequencies is usually what it is. And electricity, because of the alternating current, yeah, it does have a hum. Ringing in the ears kind of ruined that ability. Tinnitus. Yeah. You know, the thing about tinnitus is that it's actually a lack of stimuli. You have these little cells in your ears that are kind of like hairs, and when they're stimulated by a wave, the movement of energy through the air, that creates a sensation in these little hairs. It gets translated by the brain as sound. And when those little hairs stop functioning, when they stop picking up those vibrations in the air, you get ringing in your ears because they're like, well, you know what? There's supposed to be something here, so we're just going to hallucinate it for you. And that's essentially what that is. And there's really no getting rid of that, so you have my apologies and my sympathy for that. Yeah. Once started, wood secretions will continue indefinitely. Burn down your house. To remove the hazard from a home, the offending wood should be replaced entirely. To prevent wood from entering this secretion stage, ensure good care is taken towards wood in the home, and refrain from scratching, knocking, or banging on wooden surfaces. Oh, but knocking on wood is a good luck thing. Do not ever insult or shout at wood. I don't know if I can do that, but, like, this is gonna sound strange, right? This is gonna sound very strange. You have a stair slug, if I remember correctly. Creaking under the weight, dog size. Yeah, you have a stair slug. I know it's been since before the BRB, but you have a stair slug. That's what you have. It's okay, I already know there's no good current solution. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You can't even paralyze the cells in your ears, because that will just lead to more. More of the tinnitus. So it's very unfortunate. There is no treatment, there is no cure. Maybe stem cells in the future, but we don't have those yet. Yeah, I don't know. This is gonna sound very strange, but when I was a kid, we used to have a tree in the yard, and rather than shouting or yelling at it, whenever we were angry, we were told to take a baseball bat. This is a horrible idea, by the way. We were told to take a baseball bat out and start slamming it against the tree, which I did. Hello, this is Hyde from Home Safety Hotline. How may I help you?
Hey, I've been hearing some really weird noises coming from
Uh-huh.
the bathroom faucet recently. I'm not sure what it could mean. It just makes this nasty sound
I
anytime I run
see.
it, along with this, nasty smell.
Well, I can tell you right away that what you have is frozen pipes. Nasty smell is associated with frozen pipes, but not with the pipe, or was it drain hob? What was it called? The pipe hob? I think it might be a pipe hob. Yeah, pipe hob. So it's frozen pipes, not pipe hob, because the pipe hob actually keeps things clean. Where are frozen pipes? There we are. Poor tree. Oh, it was fine. It was an old tree. It was very thick. It was made of oak, so very hard too. Um, it actually started growing. Oh, hello. This is Hyde at Home Safety Hotline. How may I assist you?
My wife, I can't. Her face, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
I see.
My wife, I can't see her face.
I see.
I can't see her face.
Well, you might be experienced.
I can't see her face.
Yeah, I got that,
Oh
sir. I got that.
God. Oh God.
I got your symptom. I will diagnose your problem momentarily. I think you have early onset dementia. You might want to see a psychologist about that. If it's not that, what you have are memory wisps, in which case, don't worry about it. You'll forget that there's even a problem in the coming days. See, this is why you read them first, so you know what's going on, and you know it can be confused for other things. Like that was tricky, right? You could get the mirror nymph there. However, it wasn't a mirror nymph because mirror nymphs only affect living creatures, and this was a memory thing. I think that's the fun of this game, or at least of it. I picked this game up because I'm very interested in cryptozoology. Hello, Hyde at Home Safety Hotline. How may I assist you?
Hey, name's Fred Pinball.
I don't think it is.
Complaint against your place of business up there. I
Uh-huh.
have never seen such a big old mess left behind by your pest control team. Just tons of twigs, sticks.
They took care of it though, didn't they?
Sod, and I ain't putting up with it no more. I got sawdust coming out my drawers.
I see.
I had to grab you by the goober and smack you around till next Sunday. Now, what you
Fred,
gonna
do you know a person named Twig Sigmund? I'm not gonna make it right. That's not in my job description. Go away. I don't care about your happiness. I don't get paid enough to care about your happiness. Any after-service care, you'll need to buy the extended Premium Plus option of the subscription. Hey there, hi there, Hyde here at Home Safety Hotline. How may I assist you?
Hi?
Hello?
Have no idea what's happening.
Me
My
either,
feet
sir.
are
Please
growing
inform
nasty
me.
sharp things on them, and
Oh, I
my
see.
legs itch like crazy.
Yes, that
Do I
happens.
need to be showering more often or something? I
Probably.
usually shower like once a week for my skin health, so maybe that's it?
Well, you know what? That's actually pretty smart of you, Harvey. Here's a tip for any of you in the call centers out there. Always tell the person that you know their name. If the person's name is Harvey and they say, "Hi, this is Harvey blank blank from blank blank. I have a subscription to your service." Always say, "Oh, hello, Harvey. My name is blank." That makes them feel like you actually care. You don't actually have to care about them, but if you use their names, they'll feel like you care, which is important. Harvey, you have bed teeth, and although I recommend showering more often, I do admit that showering less often is probably better for your skin in some ways. The more you shower, the more soap you use, especially, the more your oils will secrete naturally to compensate for what's lost from your skin and hair, right? So, yeah, definitely shower more, but you don't have to use soap every time you do. I know a lot of time people have recommended that you shower different amounts of time. Another call, it's busy today. Hey there, hi there, Hyde here at Home Safety Hotline. How can I help you?
Hello? I was told to call this number to ask about my problem.
Your
The wall
problem?
in my bedroom doesn't look right near the bottom.
There's a crack.
The bottom of the wall has some cracks, or
Yes.
maybe it's peeling.
You hear any
I'm not
noises coming
sure.
out of those?
I have a cat named Whiskers, and sometimes he likes to sharpen his claws at the couch, but he
Mm-hmm.
would never do that to the wall. He knows just how naughty that would be.
Oh, this is tough. Peeling is definitely a termite issue. Like the paint will peel because of the chemicals produced by the termites. However, cracks are fracture hob kind of thing. Hmm. Let me put you on hold and check this out real quick, okay? Wanda, I'll be right back. So, cracks, we definitely have... Like, that could just be a foundation issue, right? Like, it could be a fracture hob, or it could just be perfectly normal house shifting, subsidence of the land. I don't think that's an option, though. Nope, it isn't an option, so... I guess you have a fracture hob. Which is not the first thing I would jump to. And I'm one of those people who, actually thinks there could be things out there that we don't understand. It was the cat, it's always the cat. Not a fracture. Like, a fracture is not a claw mark. If it said that there were scratches, I might attribute that to the cat, but I think you have a fracture hob here. If you see something running around with a small face, a false face, hello, hi, this is Hyde, how can I help you?
Do you think this is some kind of joke?
My
Last
life
week,
is a
I
joke,
called you
yes.
guys about some weird noises I had coming from
Really
my
big
living
cat.
room, and
Mountain
the info
lions? I don't
package
think
you
they're
sent
real.
me said something about leaving out a bowl of cream? What kind of
Yes,
joke is that? It's been a week now that I've been dealing with this racket, no thanks to you, and now we're starting to have power outages.
I see. Oh,
Stupid joke is now probably going to cost me who knows how much
that's
in
not
repair
good.
costs. So talk to your manager and tell them they
Sir,
owe
sir,
me
please
big
calm down.
time. You
I am
think
here to
I'm
help you, sir.
blowing on
Please calm
my
down.
hopes, and you figure it out now!
Sir, please calm down. I know exactly what your problem here is. I can help you. However, things have now escalated. um, you have a bogart now. Your common hob, because you did not feed it, has turned into a bogart. So you're going to have to consider more extreme options. Large cats bouncing around and causing earthquakes is not typically what you'd think from earthquakes. There are. There are creatures of the lumberwoods which would cause earthquakes. 83%? What are you talking about? Ah, that's not good. We're not gonna get our coupon now. We were supposed to get our coupon for today. That's very unfortunate. Okay, Carol's gonna be very disappointed in us. Science mysteries? Let's watch that. There are creatures of the Lumberwoods which are associated with landslides and mass wasting events, avalanches especially. There's a giant worm-like creature, what was it called? Something slider, maybe? Massive things that would just hang on mountains, slide down the side, and swallow people whole. Mystery of mice.
Mice. One of
Mm-hmm.
humanity's oldest friends and oldest
I,
enemies. From
more
the
the
top
latter.
to the shelves of our pet stores, mice have lived alongside humans for centuries. And humans, mice may even be evolving alongside us as well.
They are.
This is a mus musculus, otherwise known as the common house mouse.
Yes. Not a field mouse. They're smaller.
And this is Mus musculus loquentis, otherwise known as the smart mouse, a newly discovered species known for its uniquely colored iris, and more importantly, its increased intelligence.
Wasn't there a guy who was turning into a mouse?
Smaller than peanuts, and yet, modern science has observed they are
In our
capable
email?
of thinking quite intelligently, and in the case of the smart mouse, perhaps even capable
Smart
of
mouse.
communication.
Not very good
With
at
the help of
typing,
modern
though.
Computer technology. Today's scientists have been able
Smart
to
house,
interpret
a smart
the
house.
previously indecipherable
I don't like
speech
smart
of a
houses.
smart mouse, and have discovered what seems to be hidden messages within. Let's take a listen.
How do you interpret this? What are you using to interpret this? Algorithms? Yeah. That's what I would say if I were turned into a mouse,
Is this a
too.
wonder of evolution, or are we just hearing things that aren't there? Do mice and men have more in common than previously thought?
Of mice and
Well,
men. Very good.
I suppose that's what makes this a science mystery.
So apparently people are being turned into mice. That's good to know. I'm so sad we didn't get our coupon for this week, or this day. Subject line, introducing our new office pet. Hello, Home Safety Hotline family. We're excited to introduce you all our brand new office pet, Whiskers. Whiskers is loyal, friendly, and is as serious about pest control as we are. Please give Whiskers a warm welcome if you see him wander by your desk. Note, please refrain from picking up or feeding Whiskers as he is still getting to know everyone in the office and has scheduled feeding times. Sincerely, HSH Corporate. um, I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't. Is there a save? Oh, there are fewer options. There is no save button. Okay. I think this is where we're going to be ending it for today. Cute cats. Cats are nice. I don't know how I feel about office pets. Like, I feel like office pets are a bad idea. They might improve morale, but at the same time, like, they're a big responsibility, and someone's still gonna have to take them for the nights, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think that's an issue. It is an excellent cat. It was a very cute cat. I'm a big fan of any kind of tabby cat. I prefer them to calicos and, like, pure maned cats of black or white. I do prefer tabbies, especially mackerel tabbies. They're very cute. Vet cats are fine. I I don't know. I think I it might be okay if that's your place of employment. That might be the only time I'm okay with that. Yeah, as long as they're getting enough care, right? Like, I always worry about cats that are like, or pets that are office pets or classroom pets. Like, I've never had a classroom pet, but I've read stories I've heard tell of people keeping hamsters in a classroom. Saw that on the Powerpuff Girls, right? There was an episode where they had a class pet, a hamster, and they were giving it to the class individually so that they could learn responsibility. And I agree with that. Pets can teach children responsibility and about life and death. So I'm not saying don't have pets. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know how I feel about actually having a class pet or a workplace pet. I don't know. Fair worry? Yeah, yeah. But that's fair then, you know, if your workplace is actually taking care of it and you're not just leaving it alone for 12 hours a night. I don't know. Yes, class pets are very worrisome. Anyway, this is where we're going to be ending it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. And I'm very happy that I picked up this game. It was very last minute. And yeah, I wasn't really going to be doing this for a while yet, but I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it too. We're finally getting into the weirder stuff. And I'm going to forget it by the next time I play this. So that's not going to be great. Yeah. Anyway, I love you all, but for now, hide out. Good night. Thanks for stopping by.